The word decent doesn't apply to me.
She was attacked by what appears to be essentially a robot.
This man is not a hero, he's a criminal. Shut up!
Hey everybody, how you doing out there? It's me, your buddy Admiral Teague. It's good to see you. Welcome to the show. It's Friday. You made it. It is April 30th, the last day of the month. Or do we have? Yeah, no, we got one more. Sorry. You know what? I never really paid attention to that part in school. You know, as we wait for people to kind of get the notification we're on and stumble through the door, let's just go over a little bit of breaking news. On this day in 1431, you've only had 500 or so years to get used to this. Joan of Arc, burned at the stake in Rouen, France. Joan of Arc, the French heroine and Catholic saint, was executed by burning at the age of 19, accused of heresy and cross-dressing for wearing military armor. Her trial was politically motivated by English and Burgundian forces during the 100 Years' War. Her martyrdom galvanized French resistance. She was later canonized in 1920. That took a while. Hey, Lombardi, what's going on, my man? It's good to see you, Lombardi, 1969. It's Friday. Welcome. Did you know that on this day in 1431, not only did they make a barbecue with Joan of Arc in Rouen, France, but Christopher Columbus set sail from Spain on his third voyage to the Americas, aiming to explore further and consolidate Spanish claims. This journey led to his discovery of the South American mainland, but also marked growing tensions with Spanish authorities, eventually leading to him getting arrested in 1500. I think it was because he was too nice. I heard it was because he was too nice. In 1539, Hernando de Soto landed in Florida. It's a huge day in Latino heritage. Let's go Latinos, right? Hey, we discovered America. We strapped cannons to like boats. You know, I think that, we should be rewarded for our vision, learning how to navigate by the stars, all the other stuff. You think it's easy to make a ship out of rope and sail and like get from point A to point B and then return to point A? That is not easy, okay? You try that. In 1539, Hernando de Soto landed in Florida. Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto arrived near modern-day Tampa Bay, Florida, beginning his expedition through the southeastern United States. During this time, he stopped at the baseball stadiums of no less than 7 major league teams, enjoying a lot of Grapefruit League games, especially the Lakeland Tigers, everyone's favorite minor league team. And, of course, he saw the Yankees in spring training because that's always a lot of fun. He also encountered a lot. He was questing for gold and glory, fortune and glory, and it involved some brutal encounters with the Guardians, leaving a complex legacy of exploration and, conquest. What can I tell you? Part Spanish, part Guardian. How am I supposed to feel about this one? By the way, in 1854, U.S. President Franklin Pierce signed the Kansas-Nebraska Act, allowing the settlers in these territories to decide on, the issue of the time. Bravery, it rhymed with bravery. Popular sovereignty, it was called, and the controversial law reignited tensions. It's in 1868. We have the first Memorial Day. In 1911, the first Indianapolis 500. In 1922, the Lincoln Memorial was dedicated. Yeah, Forrest Gump would get there some 50 years later. 45 years later. The 1942, the RAF's first 1,000 bomber raid. During World War II, the Royal Air Force launched Operation Millennium with its first 1,000 bomber raid targeting Cologne, Germany. The massive attack aimed to disrupt German industry and morale, making a significant escalation in the Allied campaign. In 1967, Biafra declared independence from Nigeria. Spain joins NATO, and Charles Taylor was sentenced for war crimes. The former Liberian president was sentenced to war crimes in 2012. And by the way, Spain joining NATO 1982, so growing for a long time. So this day has a really wide-ranging impact. It has events shaping the world from exploration, Columbus and DeSoto. We got conflict with Joan of Arc, Biafra, and World War II. And cultural milestones like the Lincoln Memorial and the Indy 500 represent the complexity of the human experience, right? The recurring themes might be power for identity. Anyway, the modern relevance would be posts on X about May 30th or often about Memorial Day. And there's something like 20 countries that have their own Memorial Day. I don't know how many of them celebrated on this day. And of course, everybody in France celebrates Joan of Arc. So that's what's going on. Anyone wants to tweet out that I'm live, kind of a bonus show here, a little later than usual. But you know what? Here's what I figure. Nerdrotic has probably made it to Super Chats by now, right? I mean, there must be someone who wants to be entertained. And if not, people will come through later. So, anybody notice that Mark Hamill has been being a jackass again? I was looking at this article in The Bleeding Fool. And you know what? I'll show you the article so you can see Mark Hamill these days. Mark, looking a little rough, not terrible, but a little rough. We had seen him packing on a lot of weight, looking to I guess he sort of plays these romanticized figures that are sword-wielding sort of Renaissance-esque characters or medieval characters. So I suppose having somewhat longer hair, he's not really ungroomed. That's his chosen look. And gosh darn it, he's got great hair for like an old man. How old is Mark? Not as old as he looks, but old. So he was crazy and back at it again. What can I tell you? He's out there on Blueski, yelling in all caps, slamming, 47 with, dictator and president dementia jabs. He rolled off a whole bunch of jokes that he thought was funny. He's been at this for ages now. The dude even apologized to Canada for a whole bunch of stuff that we don't need to apologize for. And after the election, and he tossed up a meme, really just wishing the worst about the 47th president and smirking that everyone knows what he means. And Hamill's basically got a VIP pass to spew all this venom. And then Disney's just kick it back, not a peep. And then you got Gina Carano. She posts one Instagram story in 2021. She doesn't name a soul. Just says hating people for politics is like how, neighbors were during the run-up to World War II in Europe. It was a legit point about mob mentality. Nothing wrong with it. Maybe it could have been more polished, but she's supposed to have a script, not be writing it, right? She's just some actress who went on there, was popular, doing well. And it looks to me, my best guess is that the Kennedy camp was maybe looking to get anybody from the Favreau camp. I don't think there's any love lost there. And then it seems to be like we know how Pedro Pascal survived this one. Call me crazy, but we may just know how Pedro Pascal managed to survive this. He's that new video of him dancing around there. Whoa. You guys can vote in the poll and let me know what you think. Anyway, Hamill's been blasting conservatives forever. He's even comparing Trump to Hilter. And Disney doesn't blink. Carano's just telling people not to hate on their neighbors. And she gets canceled like she's public enemy number one. They try to force her into a 90-minute glad Zoom and a litmus test with Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy and 45 LGBTQ plus employees, which I wouldn't have gone into that either. That sounds like a kangaroo court. And who's ever coming in, hopefully people are getting the message. We've been on a few minutes. We've been through today in history. Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc's barbecue was today, guys. That's probably the most notable thing. And also, just talking about the meltdown, the latest ongoing meltdown of Mark Hamill. Crazy stuff. They tried to force Carano into this Zoom meeting that she refused. She, and as far as Mark Hamill, like, where's his sensitivity training? No apology demanded. He's Luke Skywalker, so he gets to mouth off. Is that it? I don't even know that he was the most popular character in Star Wars at the moment leading up to his comeback. The comeback of Luke after Last Jedi, man. Even the people who love Star Wars were down on Luke, and that was Mark Hamill's last noble moment, sort of fighting for Luke Skywalker's dignity there. What are you going to do? What didn't work out there, and it's continuing to not work out. Mark Hamill he's kind of being a jerk. I mean, it's sort of like drunk uncle syndrome here, but it's like super liberal drunk uncle. Anyway, he got to mouth off. Carano's lawsuit, backed by Elon, is calling out this hypocrisy and pointing to Hamill and Pedro Pascal's anti-Trump posts and other stuff that they got a free pass on. So Disney's excuses, they claim First Amendment right to torch someone's career, but they can keep Hamill's rants saying, her history lesson was the final straw. I don't know what she had done leading up to that. It was as though she just didn't fit with their community well enough. I don't know. But her post was spot on, and Disney's double standard just reeks of political bias. Hamill's out there playing keyboard warrior, and Disney's fine with it. Carano speaks the truth, and she gets blackballed. If you want more receipts on their posts or Disney's legal tap dancing, you can scour their acts. That's all you need to know. And that, to me, is the lead story of the day, is continued strange and different sort of treatment of people on different sides of the spectrum. Here's Mark Hamill, certainly some spectrum of some sort. I got this out of this. This is the screenshot of the story. This is not my retweet. I did not re-Bluesky this. I did jump on Bluesky. Let's see. President Dementia Command. So many weird, just crazy things. What else? If you don't like the guy, stop talking about him. Apologizing to Canada, all the other stuff, wishing the ill will. It's a little much. I mean, you know what? Half of your fans did vote for the guy. Maybe, Mark, just calm down, try to take it easy, and you can drop out of this high Earth orbit you're in. At any rate, how are you all doing out there? It's good to see you. And, as we go further and further into the aftermath of this Disney Star Wars deal, where's the upside? What have we seen? For a few minutes, they redeemed one of their characters who had been just a disaster and blown to pieces by their own stupidity. What's happened since then? Nothing of note. We've been waiting and waiting to see some kind of movement from the Disney people, and what do we get? And wow, Loretta Swit is trending. She did. Let's see. What did? Oh boy. I don't know how true it is, but it looks like, let's see, MASH Matters podcast tweeted out, "We're shocked and deeply saddened by the sudden passing of our beloved Loretta Swit. We'll have more to say in the coming days." Wow, is Loretta Swit actually, did we really lose her? Wow. It looks like this is the post from the MASH Matters podcast. Let's see. Get that up here. So it looks like we've lost Loretta Swit. R.I.P. I think we all, R.I.P. Hot Lips. I mean, I guess I'll give it a like. I don't know if it's true yet. I don't know if I even like it, but maybe I'll just do a little Googling for Loretta Swit. And if it ought to completed pretty quickly. Looks like it's for real. 13 hours ago. Yeah, today's date is confirmed in her update in Wikipedia, IMDb, NBC News. Loretta Swit dead at 87. She had a fairly good run. She was pretty old. Swit's representative said in a statement her death was likely from natural causes. I mean, I don't revel in losing her, but I would say that this was a good run. She was a fun actress. We remember her from a lot of fun appearances in other stuff, but also, come on, she was Hot Lips on TV's MASH. There she is back in the day when we all remembered her sitting on set in costume, and let's face it, she did a great job of playing like a real asshole. Hot Lips was like a little bit too far ahead of the curve for feminism, and also like maybe a little too verbally abusive to the people around her. She had bad taste in dudes, and she also like that character was sort of literally like the person who just got beat on. And there's a few problems with the MASH TV show, and they don't have anything to do with the subject matter. What they had to do with is the show was made in a different time when we used to have like canned laugh tracks and other stuff like that. So when that style went away, it went away in a way that was really big. It was sort of like rock songs fading out. There was a time when all songs faded out. Listen to Back in Black. I think every song fades out but two, and there's like 8 songs on the record. It's just like most of them fade out. Listen to a lot of Stones from the 80s. The Stones kept to like 50-50. They didn't always fade out. Led Zeppelin, almost every song fades out because they're from that era. Led Zeppelin, really long fade outs. Deep Purple, really long fade outs, you know? So it's a different era. Things changed. The laugh track, sort of like the fade out, right? An audio cue of where something's from. So it nails it at the time. But it also, the laugh track was never considered ideal. It was because a lot of shows, All in the Family included, filmed in in front of a live studio audience. MASH didn't really have the luxury of doing that, and they had just this, the set was like kind of remote. It was in the hills. They had to have a believable like rural location to do their MASH thing, and whatever. It was just, you know, they used canned laughter to make up for the audience reaction people were used to in shows that had a live audience. Like all the, is it Norman Lear? Is that the name I'm thinking of? All the shows like All in the Family and its ilk, the ones that spun off from that, they were filmed in front of a live studio audience. The Odd Couple, I think the same thing. The shows with laugh tracks, not only can you tell it's laugh tracks, but they weren't very creative with harvesting the laughter. So it's the same few moments of laughter, and you hear the same people coughing and clearing their nose, and there's excessive coughing in the audience because everyone's smoking cigarettes. It's the I Love Lucy audience. They're the first people to mic up their audience in stereo, and they might have made as much money off that as anything else. So the laugh track didn't work. They tried using, like, removing the laugh track. So what happens when you remove the laugh track is it's just like someone says the setup, someone says the punchline in normal timing. Everyone stands there looking at, regarding, and blinking at each other for a moment while we wait for the laughter of the audience that's not there to die off in the canned laughter. It's as though they're waiting to be able to speak. It seemed more natural at the time. If you haven't seen it, it won't make sense. But they had this canned laughter, and so if you leave the canned laughter in, it's weird. It's uncanny. Sorry, it's a pun. It's uncanny, the canned laughter. If you take it out, it's not so great. There's long pauses. So there's no sweet spot here. Can it be fixed with AI to get smooth out some kind of jump cut? Probably eventually. There's probably like, I don't know if it should be remade. I don't know if it should be shown the same way. Happy Days, I don't think had the laugh track. It just had musical cues. So they left the pause in for Happy Days. For other shows like MASH, didn't age as well. So Loretta Swit appears to have died of natural causes. 87, she was up there. So in 1972 was 53 years ago, so she was 34. All right, so Loretta Swit here at 34 years of age on the set of MASH, give or take, depends when her birthday was. Her sensuous, sensitive comedic character was also known as Hot Lips. The TV series, which aired from September 1972 to February 1983, followed the staff of the mobile arm of the Army Hospital an Army hospital during the Korean War. Swit starred in all seasons of MASH. So she was in all seasons. Not everybody made the whole run. A lot of people bailed out. That seems to be the whole story. And they keep trying to resell me the same stuff I already have. This is it, the Vegas suite. I use that to edit. I don't really think anyone needs me to tell them that. But you know what? If you're going to do editing, that one, the learning curve, not so bad. So Loretta Swit, gone at 87. R.I.P. Hot Lips. It's too bad. That is a shame to see it. Sort of a shocker. And a little worried about my co-host, Jerm. I had thought that he would be here. Didn't hear back from him today. Hopefully it's just something like internet down or, busy. Hopefully he's out there making a bunch of money or something like that, and that's why he couldn't talk to me. But while I got you here, I could save you some time, man. Wow. Doctor Who is stupid and terrible. It defines true horror in the last episode I watched, which they say might be the last one with Shooty. True horror is traditional marriage in a fairly ideal world, and they throw in some past companions just to bag on her. Some lady, I forget whose companion she was. She's pretty old, so probably Capaldi's or Matt Smith. Pretty old. She was like looking to be like, looking good for 70 kind of old. I don't know. I only got a briefest of looks at her. This was like trying to stay awake. They hit you with their boredom beam, and you're like, ugh. I feel like they can slow down time. Is it an hour? Is Doctor Who an hour or a half an hour? I can't tell. It's so slow and boring. So they throw Shooty into some sort of WandaVision like wish world where like dinosaur skeletons walk around in the sky. I mean, just go with it. I don't know why. They're trying to make everyone with a disability feel better by having disabled superheroes. Something I would point out was thought of as too fucked up to do in the 1990s when the Handyman skit from Living Color drew so much controversy that they changed the movie from Handyman to Blank Man. So I don't know what to tell you on that one. Doctor Who, really dumb. Really, really dumb. I would think it ended up more reinforcing the stuff that Russell T Davies thinks he wants to fix. TV stories don't really fix anything. LDG, my friend, it's good to see you, buddy. How you doing? Good to see you out there. Do me a favor, tweet out that I'm live, guys. I'm having a little trouble getting traction here. I came on about a half hour late. It seems like nobody knows it. Also, I guess maybe there's something huge going on. And sup, Shrubby? Is it that the Trump press conference is still going on? Is that why? I just gave everybody a reason to tune out, right? But I knew that there was a presidential press conference, but it should have been an hour and a half. But if I have this right, usually 47 likes to go on about 15 minutes late. He's usually not exactly on time for the press conferences. That seems to be his style. Pretty much, man. Yeah, everybody's watching it. You know what? If I pushed back my show a half an hour, I thought that he might be done. I guess what's going to happen now is there's going to be some super, like posturing, and then like the people will pick apart what he said.
Defending the city were attacked by 3 Roman legions. Arab women stripped them of their tunics and their swords and lances. The soldiers lay naked in the sun. 2,000 years ago, I was here. Well, this match will not be postponed.
Yeah, it seems like the match was just slightly postponed. I don't think the presser went off on time, so everyone's watching that. If I could get it without getting a copyright strike for doing it, I'd put it on, but I don't think I can find a non-copyrighted version. Does YouTube have YouTube C-SPAN, and would people be freaked out by my reaction, or is the idea that everybody here is here because they would rather watch something else and catch up to that later? Let's face it, the infotainment is thick, right? The infotainment is thick. And let's see if the White House is still on. I don't think he's live anymore. I think it's just analysis now. 90 minutes is a while for anything to go on. Yeah, it's new, but it's not live. It looks like that's finally done. Yeah, this is over. All right, so it's good to see people stumbling in. I'll get up to speed on the way. Bring me up to speed. It's 6 a.m. for you. That means... would you be in Hawaii, or what? Like, do you want to just tell us, Quintus Varus, give me back my legions? That is, who said that? Who said that? Don't tell me it was Caligula. No, it was Caligula. It was Caligula. I just woke up and saw your live ping notification. Don't give a fuck about Captain Cheesy Poof. Australia, my dude. It's 6 a.m. in Australia. Hey, you know what? Welcome to the show, Shrubby 1989. I've been seeing you tag around. Nero and I, Claudius. That's actually a real historical quote. It's in the history of Rome. He said it more than once. I think the deal is he said it on record. One thing about empires is they're supposed to have records. So the Romans did. The things that qualify the Aztecs as an empire is they also had records. It's just that they're inaugurable, and also a lot of them have degraded. Their writing system, apparently a series of knots in string. So think like Morse code here as their medium. Imagine that too, right? Like Morse code and knots. But you know what? It's good to have you guys here. And you know what? Australia, cool. Botany Bay. Botany Bay. Have you been to Botany Bay? And you know what? Let's see. My favorite thing from Australia, Russell Crowe is not as cool as AC/DC. AC/DC is greater than Russell Crowe, right? Come on. I'm tired of Back in Black, but look at Black Ice. They still got it. I love that Angus Young at his age just still wants to rock and roll, play his guitar, and hang out. Yes, the quips, good idea. Yes, shitty execution. Yes, the quip is good idea, shitty execution. By the way, yeah, what about this Gladiator 2 thing? Speaking just real quickly of the Romans, and wow, Gladiator 2. That's one of this year. The story of this year, a really bad movie that they tried to talk up to mid. The standards of 2025. Let me give you an example of what I mean. In 2025, what happens is your movie comes out, it's either good or it isn't. And if it's like mediocre, you talk it up to being great. If it's terrible, you act like it's mid. For Mission Impossible, not a lot of embellishment is needed. I'm going to call the plot convoluted, but like watching most of the Mission Impossible movies, the plots have been fairly disposable. That might have been what their charm was. What a fucking disappointment having to talk to mid. Yeah, I would rather. This is the deal. I'm going to tell you something, honestly. Since it's an intimate show today, and I don't care, there's a lot of political events going on. I have to be on when I'm on. First of all, as you all know, I'm not big on news and current events. I do weird news a couple of times, during the month. It's fun. Wish there was enough weird news to fill like 4 shows a week. I would just do it. I love meme copium and stuff like that. But having to talk to mid, let me talk about that for a minute. While I have been doing punditry and talking on YouTube and other places, and it's just been the case, entertainment does seem to have leveled down. A lot of this seems to be political. A lot of this seems to be, like we just talked about, Mark Hamill being out of his mind. Mark Hamill acted completely out of his mind for days and days on end. On so many occasions, he's been putting on what I guess is now an on and off 7-year fit, about 45, then 47. I don't know what it is. He didn't like the 45th president, and now he hates the 47th president. But, I'll say this, the 45th and 47th president, their voices sound almost exactly the same, and I think this needs to be strongly looked into. But that's aside the point. I want Mark Hamill to shut up. I don't care what he thinks about, politics anymore. He has gone beyond what I think a person should do. Do I think that every celebrity has to say, I prefer to be a blank slate to be painted on? Honestly, yes. I think that's the right answer for an artist. You could get right out of it. I don't want to prejudice anyone with my opinions, right? I just want to be a blank slate for you to paint upon. When you walk into the theater, my gift to you is that I am, what you see upon that screen. For that time, I'm a professional, sir. Maybe I shall be keeper of my own conscience or something like that. I have to really believe in something to go out there. And it seems like Mark Hamill has just one too many strongly held beliefs. We're talking a lot and all the time. It's nonstop with the strongly held beliefs. Remember when he tried to take the 2 weeks off of X and he even had to take a break from that? It's like Grandpa won't quit smoking. It's like, how did Grandpa make it to this age smoking this much? I don't know. I don't know how he did it. And by the way, guys, if you're coming through later, do me a favor. Watch the show with the browser open. And if you're here now and you're just listening with the tab closed, that's cool. I hope I entertain you. But if you have a chance to listen to me for 5 or 6 minutes with the tab open to really help me out, shows like mine depend on that to sort of get the runtime to get the minutes there to a respectable amount of time. It's why I really mostly walked away from non-subscriber watch parties. When the subscribers are together, watch parties are fun. We don't have the kind of massive numbers that we used to get, but I didn't like that number. And it's good to see you guys saying hi to each other, the community. It's our little pep talk. It's like a huddle. You know what? This week, we're going to watch something that typifies a real Hollywood problem. I'll talk about the episode of Enterprise that we're going to watch in a second. I got to actually catch my breath and think here for a moment before I actually deliver it, because I'm bothered by our next episode of Star Trek Discovery. So give me a second just to centralize my thoughts. Let me think. Okay, here's the deal. The next episode of Star Trek Discovery that I need to... Star Trek Enterprise. Wow, I apologize to all. The next episode of Enterprise that we're going to watch is called The Expanse. So it's confusing because it's got the name of another franchise in there. But this is the Xindi attack. This is the Xindi attack on Earth. This is a heavy-handed analogy for 9/11. And if you can't tell from the accent, I'm from New York. And I saw it. I saw 9/11. Enough of it. I saw enough. I had line of sight on the towers. I saw. I heard. I even smelled. And God help me if I die, if I smell that, I will know where I have gone. I try every day to live a good enough life to never ever smell that smell again. The smell after 9/11, just don't hope you never have to smell it. It was terrible. It was sad. I have to agree about Mark Hamill. He went full on hinge straitjacket. Yeah, right. Spouting STDs in the channel. Jesus Christ, man. You know what? I'm sorry. Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Enterprise should never be conflated. But we will watch the last episode that's called Enterprise, because that ends with season 2. And season 2 may have been a death blow. They may have needed to find a way to funnel them as little as 20,000 more bucks an episode. Back in that time's money is like 70 now, but still, they might have needed to funnel them as little as 20 grand more in their money to get a better episode. Something in season 2 was being done. I guess they're dancing around to try to hide the lack of a budget by keeping the cast out of episodes. We have so many side quests. We only have a handful of stories about the actual crew. You know how in Star Trek what happens is we got the crew, and they have their adventures together, led by their captain, who's our main character for the most part. And the captain and the crew work together, with the crew drawing strength from the captain, and the captain drawing innovation and wisdom from listening to his crew and using his own personal experience to weld together the best possible solution. Not always perfect, but always in the spirit of goodwill. Star Trek doesn't always have to have a happy ending, which is the problem with the modern iteration, right? So we got to enjoy that for so many years, and that was high-end television. And now we've got mid. And in my entire 3 years of doing entertainment punditry, the only times I've gotten to comment on good, really, really good science fiction was a 7-minute dialogue-free Star Trek The Original Series Redux. Now, I commented on other stuff that was good that came out in the past. I'm talking about media that was released while I'm doing this. Did I like Shape of Water? Sure. Was there other good stuff I missed? For sure. Was Squid Games better than the attention I gave it for? There were some wins here and there, although every streaming show seems to have a season 2 curse. 1923 was the only other piece of modern cinematic stuff that I thought was pretty darn good. Superior. Other stuff, pretty darn bad, guys. We saw some of the worst media ever. When this channel started, it was about 4 or 5 weeks before the first episodes of Rings of Power. I did my first uploaded content, which seems to be the most popular piece of uploaded content on this channel, which is J.J. Abrams is a terrible filmmaker. I think that the hypothesis is sound. It stands up. It still has a real strong listen time. It's early on. It's not the most well-produced thing I ever did. And have the right equipment. I want to revisit it again. J.J. Abrams is just not honest with the way he delivers his sort of whole soliloquy here about his life. Like, he is not a good narrator to himself, which leaves you wondering how he could ever be a good storyteller in any other form, in any other way, shape, or form. Let's see. Fucking agreed. Scotty going full ham on engineering Spock doing the calculations of who are lining up the laser pointer. Chekhov keeping the ship steady. Kirk making time to launch. It's always a team. Yes. And then, like, also, throw in, like, McCoy, like, cautioning them to take it easy on themselves and, maybe giving some insights. Or in TNG, like, that was kind of Troy's job, right, when she was allowed to be on the bridge. They found out, and boy, are we lucky, they found out quick that Troy couldn't be on the bridge a lot because she would ruin the episode. If Troy's there, she'd just be like, Captain, they're lying. They made her too powerful out of the box, and they had to start walking it back. So for a long time, they just keep her away from situations, waiting for us, the audience at the time, to forget. Now, was Marlena Sirtis easier to take then than she is now? Not really. She was bland. She was non-ugly. She wasn't smoking hot, good-looking. She maybe, was that something like Gene Roddenberry thought she was really hot? I will say this, when I saw her out of costume young, out of character, out of costume young, Google them when they went on to Oprah, like right after the show ended, when she's still like in her 30s, when she was young. She looked different and better without the hair, without the black on black contact lenses. And she just only the standard uniform worked on her. Why they stayed away from it, who knows? She just didn't look good in anything else. That was her best look. And I'm not even saying it was great. But Marina Sirtis was just she was tolerably passable as an actress. I think a lot of us had to circle back and be really into Star Trek before we watched those early Marina episodes. And the first ones that were good was maybe the one where she pulls the switcheroo and the Freaky Friday on the Romulan ship. Sorry, guys. I'm drinking something called Wild Cherry Pepsi. I don't know what the Pepsi by you tastes like. I found out that it sort of tastes different all around the world. Pepsi, not so great. Wild Cherry Pepsi, though, good stuff. I love it. So let's see. You know what? We see the team dynamic breaking down, and in Strange New Worlds, and that nonsense comes back, we're going to see it push back against itself. We're going to see a team working to stop their captain from fucking things up. What do I mean? We're going to see Mikey Spock. Michael was always right about everything. It's inverted on Strange New Worlds. Pike's male. So this is what happens, and this seems to be boilerplate. This is almost every episode, right? Now, do they go loopy-doopy and start singing sometimes? They do. It's fucking ridiculous. Thank God they have a holodeck and an excuse to go sing and dance now. Keep it a fever dream? You wouldn't think I'd be applauding them for anything, but thank God they have a way to get that stupid singing and dancing out of their so-called real world and onto any kind of holodeck. So let them go to the holodeck and sing and dance. From what I understand, Christina Chiang, who's cute, can do it. But you know what? Do me a favor. Hit the like and follow buttons if you haven't already. I know not a lot of people through. What can I tell you? Massive day of events. What can I tell you?
Sir, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
I guess not. I mean, there was someone else talking earlier. I guess everyone had a chance to hear it, and people will have a chance to interpret it for themselves. But Strange New Worlds is coming back, and for those of you who don't remember, this is like a mashup of the kind of crap we get.
Insufficient sensor data. Incorrect.
10 fucking grueling hours.
There you have it. I mean, man, New Trek is it's been horrible. Between the stupid dialogue that bends back on itself immediately, the lack of teamwork, the lack of team humanity, the lack of insight and caring towards the other human condition, the way that the writers seem to be insecure about having characters that don't look like and listen to the music that they had in college, right down to the bad haircuts. Exactly, lame, shrubby. You're right on it. You know what? I didn't put together that mashup because I love New Trek. I put it together to prove a point. Will you find similar mashups unironically called brilliant on other channels? Yeah, but I mean, they're killing my Star Trek. Now, while they are busy destroying what we love, I suppose there's a chance for a white dwarf effect. last few versions of the Enterprise watch party, and Enterprise has been dragging a bag of hammers up a hill as far as publicity. And yeah, that they are. Listen to this, man. I've been dragging a bag of hammers up a hill with Enterprise. Here's the situation as it went down. We had a beloved YouTuber lost, and everybody who loves Star Trek used to get together on Saturday nights at like 10 o'clock, and they would review a bunch of episodes of Star Trek and talk about it. And it was really about hanging out. And the YouTuber who was great, named Cobby, his thing was more comic books. So it was a comic book crowd, but, you know, crossing over to Star Trek. And if you like to hang out with Cobby, he had a great Star Trek show, and they had their own format of rating the episodes and going through 4 a night. So in that way, they had come all the way to the end of Voyager, when just about 1 year ago to this day, we lost the great Cobby, Mike Alonso, you know, and rest in peace, my friend, and rest in power, YouTubing like legend. It's not too soon anymore. We can call him a legend, and his channel's still up there if you want to hear some great stuff. I mean, honestly, when we get to the stuff that they did, I'm going to have to go out of my way to wait until after our show to listen to what they said, so I don't prejudice myself. And I'm glad that I got in on it when they were doing Deep Space Nine, so that I didn't hear any of the original series. It'll be a long time before we overrun what I heard from them, but Enterprise was where they were, right? They had made it to the end of Voyager. They were going production order, so they're going to do Enterprise next. The problem with Enterprise is this. It's considered by a lot of people, and wow, we're really starting to build up the concurrence now. People are finally getting back to their usual social habits. Hello, everybody. Hello, world. So, at any rate, what we had with Enterprise was this. The movie was good. The first movie that started, Broken Bow, it gets a lot of views, and I enjoyed it. But something goes wrong in the first episode, or there was something just not that urgent about watching Star Trek anymore, or they waited too long to show the first episode. I don't know what it is, but the drop-off's enormous. And so Broken Bow 1 and 2, they air together, so you really, you know, the tune-out time wasn't something that we really knew of at the time. Wasn't a matrix that people talked about that I know of. But I mean, I'm sure on the network level. But now, I mean, these things are right in front of us with the analytic, and you know, right now everybody's mostly engaged in other kind of conduct and other kind of conversations. We got only 2 votes. We got a couple more people here now. Is Pedro Pascal a liability for a movie? I'm saving that story for a little while from now. Your choices are acting, no; attitude, yes; acting and attitude, good, 0% for both of those. Acting and attitude, bad, 100%. See, I think his acting's better than his attitude. I don't know, though. Maybe his attitude maybe his acting is not good enough. He's benefiting from being in their better stuff, right? And everyone's favorite stuff. I don't know if just not being bad means that you're good. So I would be with the people saying acting and attitude both bad, and we'll let that one keep developing as we go through the show. I mean, as far as Pedro Pascal,
Shut up!
I've had enough of this guy, man. He was that lightsaber, like whatever, that licking that rainbow baton and then dancing around like an idiot. That was some hardcore dumb, and I mean, like, hard to take dumb. I thought it was strange that he is. First of all, as we approached what's going to be, a Pride Month that everyone's going to be so tired of in just a few days, corporately funded, and just like, I have no problem with the people with the pride. I have a problem with the people with the progress. All right. And the pronouns, I have some discussions about how I feel about that. But, the 1966 to 05 Star Trek outlook about like society and stuff like that, like, I'm not like outside of that. Like, those things haven't changed. I ain't changed. I don't have a problem with people loving who they want to love. So I say, the American flag above all, but I'm an American. And I would imagine that Shrubby probably says, his nation's flag above all, as he should. Everyone, I hope, lives in their favorite country. He's a 21st century version of Paul Newman. Yeah, except, I mean, maybe Paul Newman was better looking, right? And Paul Newman like whether he was acting or just out in person, a little bit more of a Renaissance man personality. I can see what you're saying. Like he gets cast a lot. And I can see again with the Paul Newman, even the style when he acts, with, a little bit similar. He does tend, when he acts, to mostly under-deliver, which is a good relief in today's world, a good contrast to other actors who tend to over-deliver. Paul Newman was, and you know what? Paul Newman is in the beginning of every one of my shows, and I have him in his sunglasses. I covered up his eyes. I guess when I get to 2,500, and we're almost there. If you haven't subscribed, do so and join me as a member of my as a subscriber to this channel. And you can consider being a member if you want to be. We got a lot of gifties and gift memberships that people give away. We're up to a bunch of members now, several dozen members. I try to make membership videos at least once a month, if not every couple of weeks. Sometimes I just get inspired. I usually do them via edited content with music. It's more fun. And we used to get better movies, and like Newman is an example. Like he was a professional actor. He was in like his era's equivalent to the rom-com, not truly invented yet, right? He's in relationship dramas, right? That's good stuff that he's able to do. He's in action movies. He's a pretty tough guy. People can believe it. He can play a cop. He can play a slick criminal, a smooth criminal, if you would. Yeah, you know what? When next time you watch the very beginning of the show, most weeks I open up with Paul Newman. What happens is I have a song that I used to play at my punk band. It's like not that hardcore, but it's still, I like it. And I left my guitar solo in there. It's fun and I own it. And so it was really well recorded. Why not use it? I had to chop it up a little bit to take out the singing. But you know what? I had fun. That was one of the early editing projects. I've gotten a lot better at editing. And when we get to 2,500, I have to make a new beginning. So that's my promise to you. It's coming, a new beginning. I just described Pedro Pascal's acting style right there. Yeah, like under-delivering, and he can do all those things fairly convincingly. I would say the another person with a similar acting style is also Richard Gere, honestly. Richard Gere, pretty good actor. I would call him, for the most part, not all the time, but for the most part, he kind of under-delivers. Like, look at him in his Top Gun-like role, in his Officer and a Gentleman role. He's like a much more restrained kind of personality than we see from, the Maverick or stuff like that. He specializes in playing kind of quietly angry people. And you know what? Like, he seems to be another person. Look for him to maybe show up in Taylor Sheridan. I would say Richard Gere, he was a pretty complete actor. If you under-deliver these days, you're going to get more attention because there's only two kinds of like acting styles, and under-delivering is not really one of them. This is what's going on right now in modern acting. You have over the top and you have checked out. Over the top, it's like at least the person's trying, but we see a lot of these people who are just, Nicolas Cage does it in a good way, but like, imagine someone who can't quite, like a bad version of Nicolas Cage. We've seen a lot of them. All right? I can't pick one out of thin air, but a bad version of Nicolas Cage. Then you have people who just sort of under-deliver. They give you the emotion, but they're not pushing as hard as the people. Now, this would be called, to me, in a previous time, you would call this people who are believable or people who are relatable. But you think so? I think that, like, if you filter those things through sci-fi, is that right? Like, he would be a good detective if we did, like, a Blade Runner-like sci-fi thing. But he would also, like, we would have to put up with him. The problem with him is that now that while he's doing things, and when I say he's out there, like the operative word is there, not out, like it's like the first word might need to come into operation. Like, I just don't know. I just don't know if someone who digs chicks acts that way, but that's for Pedro to say, and like, it's his choice to tell us. Like, I don't know, but I mean, I think he's becoming sufficiently activist that he probably, if I was him, I would tell people where I was staked in. And you know what? Like, no one should be ashamed of what they are unless you're a goddamn criminal, right? Yeah, that's I hadn't considered that. Does everybody down under have like this kind of cool abstract way of thinking? It speaks well of the education system there. I get great takes from people in Australia and New Zealand all the time. In some things, he's fucking amazing, and the rest of the career, he's made it best. Yeah, I get. You know what the thing is with Sellers, he had like a good like rock and roll lifestyle where he was just kind of like the story of his life might be more interesting than some of the movies he was in because he was like a wild man, like sex addict, loved his drugs. He was like Chris Farley of his time. This is just British humor. You know what? Okay. I love you guys though. I love everybody down under. You guys are super cool. You provided us some great pop culture too. And, we're going to pilfer your country for hot women like Kylie Minogue. I mean, that's a long time now. You owe us another hot woman. It's been a while. Ruby Rose was not exactly a hot woman. You guys owe the world a hot woman. But, maybe Margot Robbie counts, I guess. All right, you guys are paid up. Everything's cool. We're set. How's that for working on the British humor thing? I live in New York. We had a good PBS station for America Public Broadcasting, and it was fun to see like a lot of these Britcoms, Faulty Towers, other things like that. And hey, 7 likes, that's good for a day with so much else going on. If you haven't, or if you're coming through later, hit that like button, see if we can't get me up to the usual 25 to 30, which is really appreciated. You guys are great and really supportive like that. And I'm glad I'm getting some laughs. It's good to be here entertaining. It's almost a member stream, but you know what? The re-listenability of this show, especially when we keep it to a manageable time, is so high. I thank everyone who comes through later and listens to this show, the lifeblood of my audience, even on really strong shows like last night. And the Friday show, quite honestly, it's one that I like to do because I get to do it with Germ. But the Friday show is always a lot of fun because we've talked about most of the week. There's only so much to say. I'm glad I'm not a daily chatter. I have other things going on, thank God, count your blessings. But, other things going on, and I tend to be able to on Fridays more relate with the audience and have a more intimate stream. Because right now, like member streams, more like member upload edited material. And I do office hours, and I'll do them again soon. What I do is I'll hang out in my office at either 2 different times on 2 different days, and I'll make it so that, see, Star Trek's worldwide, and that's sort of my base. The base is Star Trek, old Star Trek. So I'll do one that's based on a schedule to get you guys down under. And then I'll do another one that's more in American hours, like primetime U.S. nighttime on a weekend. And I try to serve everybody because you guys have all been great to me. And I have been gifted, and I do mean gifted by a lot of our subscribers, Ruby Hoove, Crimlon, Radioactive, and others who've been so kind to this channel. I've been gifted a community. A lot of you dig down and become a community member and pay every month. And I thank people who do that. And people who've tried the channel. I really do, from the bottom of my heart. It's really great, and it enabled me to buy the software. I recommend Vegas. You guys, if you have a YouTube desire or you want to make video essays, I recommend Vegas, and I recommend strongly observing people who do it, and I recommend even super chatting someone who makes video essays so that they can spend the kind of time that it would take to unpack that. I would never want to do a 101 on it, but maybe I would do, if there was enough demand, a member video where I explain a little bit of how to do it, but I don't know, observation and some basic rules. I don't know if you're even allowed to make a 101. We're all guessing. The one thing I'd say is the 5 seconds of video with sound or less, and you want to be less, has been said by most to be common use, but I have nothing in writing to nail that down to. Sorry, guys. I just had a little bit of a seizing spasm there. I hope I remembered to mute correctly. Whoa! So you'd be bloody right at home watching ours like Kingswood County, Fast Forward, Acropolis, now Kath and Kim. The last show I watched from down there was gone from a long time ago, and it was fun. It was about the Norse gods relocated down there, and it made sense. It was funny, and they were really good on the Norse lore, and they translated it into modern stuff. We watched a few episodes of it. We watched probably a few episodes of it. The thing was that the show didn't get to end or conclude, and there was long times between seasons, so we never we just gave up on a show in limbo. I think they finally said that show is over. What the hell was it called? All right. Well, I'm glad if I'm solid with you guys. I hope so. You guys are solid by me. You know what? I try to provide I try to take as many polls and do shows where I get to talk right to people and get to know you guys a little bit. And this is great one-on-ones. Yeah. If you're out there right now live, use this time to talk to me. I love that we have a kind of a different day. And, like YouTube won't know it, and it'll look like a home run on the scorecard when people come through later. But right now, if you want, several people just happy to themselves. It never made it here. How annoying. Let me know if you'd find it. Yeah. Here's the thing. It was good. It was so niche. My friend was from the area where the mythos was lifted from, right? And he had all the knowledge, and he was able to explain it to me. He was Danish, and so he was telling me why things would happen and explaining how there were you needed kind of masterclass or overt familiarity. And I think the show was from New Zealand. I put those reviews on my second channel. I may even have privated them. I don't even remember it anymore. Let me take a look at my other channel and see if I can find it. My other channel is called Saving Star Trek. I have a show called that, and I took the channel name so that no one else could. But it's weird when you can't find your own channel. I'll do it later when I have more effing time. I forget the name of the show. I'm trying to remember it. It was a pretty good show. It was just that, it was so vague and so subtle. And even though it was well done, it was so niche that, you couldn't even... I know they did a Monkey Magic remake in New Zealand. Didn't know about the Norse Gods one. It's gone for, 10 years, but it made perfect sense, and it aligned with the mythos, and it was funny. The guy who was the god of games, he was really good at beer pong. He was really good at gambling. He made his money playing games of chance. He just always won, right? He couldn't lose. And his luck sometimes, if he was throwing too much shade at the rest of the pantheon, his luck could turn into misfortune for others that would make him feel bad. But he would never have bad luck, not personally. Just he seemed to have a vampiric effect on the luck of the people around him. Oh man. What was the name of the show? Let me try to find it. New Zealand show about Norse gods. The actors were good too. I just never saw them. The Almighty Johnsons. That's what it was called. The Almighty Johnsons. And here's the thing: the great 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 grandfather, his power was that he never grew old, right? So he grew old at an infinitesimal rate. So he thought the guy was his cousin. When he finds out, what the point of view character finds out their name is Zeus, right? They find out, I'm sorry, that they're Thor. No, they're Zeus. They find out that they're Zeus, and they tell him, they get him wasted, and they tell him that he's got all these powers, and then his cousin who's Loki and everything else, they all start doing some weird stuff. Is it? I don't know, but they were fun. The show was fun, but it was really, really deeply, you needed a PhD in the mythos to fully get it. It was good if you didn't know it. It was great if you did. The thing is, I'm an American, so if you assign me homework, I'm going to rebel, right? The after show discussions were so much fun, it mitigated the homework part. Hello, Lord Toxic. Hail to you. It's good to see Lord Toxic here. Lord Toxic's a friend. How things go by you? You know what? I am great, and I hope that you are good too. We were talking earlier. The first story of the day was that Mark Hamill is just going nuts. We saw his... I'm going to pull up his Blue Sky profile right now and see how bad it is. Let's see. All right, yeah, you can see this is pulling up. So this, dare I sign into Blue Ski? All right. Check it out. So I don't Blue Ski much, right? I took my name so no one else could have it, which is why I have the second channel called Saving Star Trek. Here's today's he's just out of his tree. It's just one nut statement after It's becoming tiresome, and it's kind of like Grandpa can't quit smoking, right? So he's going berserk over there on Blueski, typing in all caps, getting angry, having a meltdown, being a dick, and it's just a little much. He's he's wishing the worst on the guy. It's pure venom. And then you look at what they did to Gina Carano. Disney's kicking back while all this is going on. I still don't have a problem with people voting for who they want to vote for. I might be a little freaked out by your voting choice, but like, it's America, right? Like, Mark Hamill, yeah, his level of TDS actually could be studied. I don't know if he had lost it already. I don't know. Like Mark Hamill seems to be me. Like, it's like, aside from this Trump thing, up until then, like, we had no indication. It seemed like Mark Hamill was like out there. Like, the last cool thing he did was he went out there and stood up for the fans during Last Jedi, and he tried to get that shit fixed. But then since then, he's just been a horror story as far as the way his behavior has been, and it's just been a downer for everyone, to the point that, you know, CGI Luke is preferred, and Skinwalker Luke, as they call it. So he's been unable to calm it down. Meanwhile, Gina Carano's Instagram thing in 2021 still causing her problems. Now, she was just telling people, you know, not to be like the secret police on people. She made an unfortunate analogy, but people, excuse me, I'm sorry, I hit the microphone there. She made an unfortunate analogy, but it wasn't like as bad as people made it. It was just like she alluded to something that was true and real. Now, if she had made the same point and used the McCarthy era, she probably gets away with it. But because I think that they were just like, they had targeted the entire Favreau camp. Pedro is just, after a while, they're like, he's so woke, we'll leave him alone. And then they just start like sniffing around, looking for someone to go after, right? Mark Hamill can't do nothing. He's all right. You know, as far as they think. For them, he's all right to Kathleen Kennedy. These views that Mark Hamill has, Mark Hamill is like laid down for all the stuff that they did after that one gallant moment years and years and years ago. Just check the show details, and it sounds like Once Upon a Time Norse Gods version. Yeah, it was good. The more you know about it, the better it is. We did a whole bunch of episodes of it on, and I threw them on the second channel because they didn't exactly like get the engagement, because the show didn't itself do that well, and it was from a smaller country, so it was a niche within a niche within a niche, and it was just like, we watched it when we were watching Loki season 2, because Loki season 2 was so dumb and so bad with the mythos and pantheon, it made no sense. But Gina Carano ends up fired from The Mandalorian. The Rangers of the New Republic thing got scrapped. Now, who knows whether that'll turn out to have been, in retrospect, we don't know what we didn't see, but their shows turned out to be so bad. She may have been driven out at the right time, and she may be the only one who comes out of this with a bunch of money. That's the freaking irony here. Has anybody thought about that one? That out of everybody involved in this, the one person who seems now guaranteed to get money is the one person they didn't want to let play their freaking reindeer games. It was just really weird that Gina Carano, of all people, is the one who seems most likely to get paid. Okay, so she made a legit point about mob mentality, and there was nothing wrong with that. There was zero hate towards anyone. It was just historical truth. They nuked her from orbit. They fired her off The Mandalorian, and the other show gets scrapped. No warning, no discussion, just a press release. She turned down that sensitivity training. Who could blame her? Now, I don't think the idea was that she was against the idea. She was not against, in my opinion, that she would listen to other people. She just sniffed out what looked like a BS reason to just like run her down and maybe build up some more grievances. She seems to, with that like sensitivity training, does anyone think that was going to be any more than they were going to like just go after her and lecture her and try to get her angry on camera and then like reveal it to the world? Like, look what happened when we tried to like calm her down. So I don't think that one was a winner. I think that one was always going to lose. And it's just always going to be that way. That's with maybe the end of the story for Disney and her. the idea that she would be in this Grogalorian movie with Pedro, I mean, they would be well advised to approach her, offer her a huge settlement, and offer her to be in the Grogalorian with like a lot of back pay, a lot of pain and suffering, and like first-rate movie star money. And then they'll probably do what they could do there to destroy her character and get rid of her like that. But you know what? At least there's a huge payday on the way out the door, as opposed to the browbeating that she got. Like, it wasn't fair how she was treated, and maybe at least that might set her up for a future career. Because leaving in the ignominious way that they tried to force her out with all the false stuff they said, really rough. But you know what? She didn't say anything all that messed up, and I think time has really calmed that down. Hamill's rants, on the other hand, he has said the worst thing about people alive now, the worst thing about people still, making political calls now. He has done nothing but divide people with his rhetoric. Half or more of all Star Wars fans can't go see Mark Hamill speak. He's going to antagonize you. No one trusts him to act normal long enough to be a normal fan interaction. And like I said, when he took that social media holiday, it didn't seem like Grandpa trying to quit smoking. Like he had it's like he had a phone hidden in the garage, and he would go in there and send out a few tweets all crazy, from a fake account. And they'd be like, up, Grandpa's at it again. We got to grab him and get him to put the patch back on. I wish they made a patch for social media. Let's see. Is Pedro Pascal a liability for a movie still sitting at 5 votes? If you haven't taken the poll and you're here, take it. I didn't expect this low of a turnout. I guess that was one controversial press conference. I'll find out later. And if you're coming through later, I hope we're entertaining you. We lost Loretta Swit today, 1938, I believe. She was 82 or let me look at the Loretta Swit details again. American actress Loretta Swit, best known for the TV show MASH, passes away at 87. She was born 1937 in Passaic, New Jersey. No wonder she didn't seem to have an accent to me. She had a local accent. Passaic is nice. I like Passaic. All right. I mean, I'm not from Jersey. I'm from New York, but New Jersey's like my backyard. But Carano spoke the truth and got blackballed. And Pedro's out there licking this rainbow-colored baton and dancing around referring to himself, using effeminate words, calling himself a bitch, being all weird. The OnlyFans thing, I think some of the most cringe things I've ever seen from a person, with Dakota Johnson, acting weird on an ongoing basis. Pedro Pascal is he is brimming with strangeness, and I think that it's finally about to change to the point where Pedro is going to be more on the outs than the in. He was recently downgraded from having fatherly energy to having grandfatherly energy, which to me is kind of funny. Kind of funny. I like the idea that Pedro has sort of become classified as grandfatherly, but Grandpa, what? Now he digs dudes? I mean, love who you want to love. Like I said, it's the people with that progress flag that I have more questions for than the people who just have the flag that I didn't care about 30 years ago and don't care about now. It's not my flag, but as far as that other flag, the progress one, I sort of reverse care about it. It's antagonistic, and it seems to represent an antagonistic viewpoint. What can I tell you? And I would say the people who had that first rainbow flag, they might be some of the ones feeling the most antagonized. So maybe they'll have fun when we have the guts to be the first people to just go out there and satirize. We're going to have some satirical fun with Pride Month. We're going to do it. You know what? For every idea, there is satire. We're going to try to do it, and maybe it'll be funny. You know what? We're not going to take anyone down for the way they love, for who they love, but Do we think that Mr. Mayweather is best described as Mr. Gayweather? And do we have to call him Mr. Prideweather so we don't use the G word too much? Yeah. Is there going to be an episode with Mr. Prideweather? Where did we move the Mr. Prideweather episode from May to June so that we could do it on Pride Day? Yeah. We're watching The Expanse this week because we're going to watch Horizon in 2 weeks so we can watch it on June 14th. In the United States, June 14th is just a train wreck of public holidays and greeting card holidays and real holidays. Here we go. Father's Day. Flag Day. And it's Pride Day. All on the 14th. And then a couple of days later, we got Juneteenth, right? So we have the one Juneteenth-worthy, Pride-worthy member, in our opinion, of the cast, Mr. Mayweather, and we're going to watch his Enterprise episode on June 14th because it's just funnier. And then later on in the month, we're going to watch Patterns of Force towards the end of the month as part of our tongue-in-cheek celebration as kind of a joke on my birthday. And then, you know what, we'll have other things going on too. So, you know what, look for some fun stuff. We'll probably put up, we'll probably change one of the gifts just for fun, just for laughs. I don't know how I would change it. I'll work on emojis later. We are stuck at 5 votes. Like, what can I tell you? It's going to be an intimate performance today. In an intimate show. If you guys can tweet out that I'm live, it helps, wakes up the browser. I got one more story for you. Here we go. I did today in history. I would like to know more about Pedro Pascal's weird, fixation with being an idiot and whether or not people feel that he's a liability. We don't have a large enough sample, but it now seems like, and WDW Pro was saying it, and I think that Park Place said it too, made a direct comparison to Rachel Ziegler and said that, he's kind of competing and that his attitude and his actions sort of right up there in the annoyance level with a Rachel Ziegler, being just as exclusionary and just as mean theory. Let's see. Lord Toxic says, my theory, as a detective, when a celeb doesn't get the woke agenda, some fixer for the elite pulls up on them and shows they have the Diddy evidence and they have on them. And if there isn't any, they say, bye. I think that's what you mean, right? I hate your birthday being in June. Me, you know what? I love it. It's a beautiful month. And in America, when June is the last month of the academic calendar, usually it was my birthday would fall right around the last week of school. And it was a great feeling to have that. And it's a beautiful month weather-wise by the end of it. It's the only month that sort of has real seasonability in New York State until you get back to September and October again. July is beautiful for most of it, but then by the middle, the end of July and August and the first few weeks of September and the first week of September are usually a disaster in New York. And I saw that particularly an unusually hot winter in the Northeast, at least as far as Washington, D.C. went. Washington, about 5 hours away. It's weird how the weather systems just do not seem to line up, but it's good to see that everyone here. Listen, man, my birthday's in June too. That's part of why we're going to parody this. Krimlon! My friend Krimlon's birthday is in June. It's in June. And you know what? If something is being corporately underwritten, it's no longer being persecuted. It's being celebrated. So if it's being celebrated and I want to do some satire...
Sure. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
That's right. No one would. It's going to be. If people want to listen to it, it'll be funny. If people don't, you know what? You know what?
That was so controversial, sir.
We're going to see where it goes. We've already observed on Mark Hamill being a nut on Bluesky. The other big story of today seems to be that Superman trailer really was as bad as people thought. It seems like my calling it out and saying it was terrible went even a little further, Lord Toxic and everyone else. It seems like it went a little further than even me having an issue with it. It seems like it was just bad. That first 5 minutes of the movie, that also seemed bad. Now we're hearing reports, and I heard these from Culture, Casino, and other people. Full disclosure, got them where everyone else got them. But also, there was a Hollywood Reporter and Variety article that validated some of this stuff, saying that up to 25 to 30 minutes of the James Gunn movie had been absolutely cut, potentially more. That there had been some retooling of the ending to try to change of tone, and most of what got cut was humor and gags and jokes, and that James Gunn was just yucking it up a little too much with Superman, and that he delivered a non-entertaining, non-fun movie. To which I say, man, we just cannot get Superman right. We cannot get Superman right these days. It's sort of a semi-disaster. There's nothing we can do. Superman just, it seems like it's like sort of plowing sideways, doesn't it? It's the first Superman we get in this century. The first Superman we get, the Brandon Roush, is that the guy's name? That movie isn't so great, but Superman is correctly characterized. He's like at least the Superman that we know and remember. The Superman character in that movie, though imperfect, was trying to be heroic. Then we get Snyder Man Superman. And this Superman, he doesn't really say the right things. He is heroic. He looks the part. It's well acted. You can't not like Henry Cavill. But unfortunately, the movies just don't serve him very well, with the worst one, in my opinion, being BVS. BVS is so particularly bad that it really harms the Snyder ability to continue telling the story. And guys, if you're out there listening to me like it's radio, because today had like a news vacuum kind of suck up a lot of the American audience, if anyone coming through later can leave the browser open and just to have the tab open on the browser while you listen to the show, just for a few minutes to help the analytic and register your view, it'll do a lot to help this particular episode of the show, because I think a lot of people are going to have a hard time swimming upstream. Someone had to give a few people the alternative. I'm here for those who want me. I do try to stay away from politics. I did not stream on the election day or election night. I did not stream on like what would be State of the Union for any of the candidates. I have never offered direct political opinions except that freedom of speech is good and communism fucking sucks. I have never told people who to vote for, and I have never called anyone out. Have I called ideas stupid? Well, you know what? I'm not one to call things stupid, but if something is stupid, I might show it to you so that you can judge for yourself, like this.
We will win. We will win. We will win. We will win. We won't rest. We won't rest. We won't rest. We won't rest.
That gesture is prescient today because Doge is probably going to go on, but Elon's government time is over. He's reached his, I think, something like 90 service days. He's only allowed to be the Doge guy for 90 days. And then it's over. So that time has come and gone. And so, he's moved on from the government with some goodwill, it looks like, although some speculate maybe it's not as good as we think. I don't know. It's hard to say that Sorry, Elon. It's hard to say how Elon Musk feels. There's some reports out there that maybe he was taking lit amount of drugs the whole time he's been doing this, but I don't think anyone argues the idea that the government could be more efficient. And I also don't know how many people argue the idea that you can only strip and cut so much at any one given time without just putting such a shock to the system that it becomes deeply counterproductive, deeply counterproductive. So I think maybe it ran its course and it was probably a good thing while it happened, but it's over pretty much now with Elon officially moving on. That's actually, a real life thing. If you're just getting here, take our poll. Just stuck at 5 votes. What are you going to do? So it's not going to be a big show today. You know what? Like I said, donut hole and engagement thanks to the political event. What are you going to do? I'm not going to worry about it. It's great to have you guys here, like I said. Just looking for, looking for any more comments. I usually get a little more feedback than this from people. I have to backpedal. I have to talk to my soundboard, which I can do. I could always just do that while I figured it out. You know what? Let me just get in here and get myself some spacecraft.
Access denied.
Come on.
Access denied.
All right. Well, while I work on that, you know what? I'll figure something out. Really? All right. Very, very, very close to mine, Lord Toxic. I am just a couple of days after that. We're going to be, you know what? I'll be live on that day. It's a scheduled day to be on the air anyway. Not that, you know, any day could be, but it's just weird. Usually, for my birthday, I end up being awake for like 21 hours of that day. What usually happens is sometime in the small hours of the morning, I'll fall asleep for the few hours. Then I still have enthusiasm even after all these years on my birthday. It's my special day, the one day that unifies all things about who I am. And I go out there and I do my thing. And in the past, I used to go out and get trashed on my birthday, or maybe take some mushrooms on my birthday. Not that I recommend any of these things. Although the written reports are that Elon recommends them. Happy birthday, my cancer friend? Is that cancer? So now you know that I'm on the other side of the sign. All right. So anyway, in 1942, there was a 1,000-plane RAF raid. I wondered what the target was, man. Let's see. Cologne, huh? You know what remains the top popular thing in American history, jumping into World War II? I think maybe the next time we turn the page of history was probably on 9/11. And we're going to see two different events, same approach, different technology, same methods even, to Hollywood trying to slap a Band-Aid on real-world events. It's always sort of cringe and definitely a little weird when Hollywood jumps in there and starts getting involved in the real-world events, but they chose to do it in this instance, and what we saw was with World War II, Hollywood jumps out and they make movies like, see the 1943 Batman, that's just war propaganda. It would have been even more of a low-budget movie without the War Department loan. It takes like a year and a half for that movie to come out in like 55 pieces, or I don't know. There are so many installments, maybe 30 of them. I don't know. They're brief. That movie's episodic nature is built right into the movie. The movie itself is like almost 4 hours long, but it's like it was shown in so many like 7 or 12-minute pieces. It was really brief. And it's like every episode had to have some sort of open, middle, and close. Like they tried to have acts in it. It was really weird. But you know what? The in our time, Batman, Michael Keaton, both the best and the worst Batman, possibly, because he's in that Batman movie that people just ignore, that Flashpoint movie, like where it's really not a Batman movie, but he reprises his beloved character in a way that like we would just rather he had done something else. Then he tries to be in that Batgirl movie, and they have to burn that one. Wow, there's just nothing of Michael Keaton reprising that role out there. At least he got paid. And did you guys see that Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence's kids got married? Eddie Murphy's son, Eric, and I forget what Martin Lawrence's daughter's name is, but thank God she doesn't look like Martin dressed as a woman, which is something that Martin used to do a lot. Remember that? But yeah, Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy's kids, I guess Tom Connor said in 25 or so years, we'll have some pretty funny children. Probably right. Wish them luck. The other big story today, I guess, is Loretta Swit passes away. I'm going to see if I can catch a little more about that. Give me a second, guys. See a lot of people measuring them, a lot of people. Wow. It really hasn't gotten out there yet. A lot of people pretty upset about Doctor Who. I watched that. Hey, Tim, what's going on? So now people are filtering in. All right. So if you haven't been here before, I'll give you this advice. This is the advice been given all week. Mission Impossible, I certify the action. About a third of this movie is actually action. There are really long, good action set pieces. Now, whether or not they make sense is up to you, but they're good. They look really great. they seem to gotten hung up on impossible. Somewhere when I checked out, they went from really hard to accomplish to like impossible. Like some of the things they say to him are objectively impossible. It's like you're going to swim under the ice cap for 15 minutes. Then at another point of the movie, they say you have to ascend from the bottom of the sea, exhaling for 10 straight minutes. And he's like, okay. Like we could even do that. I was like, you only have to have lungs to know that doesn't work. And definitely 2 shoots. Tom looking a little bit bloated in the face with like some Botox. Like there's moments there where his face looks swollen. His hair is always a mess, trying to like cover up for the fact that like it's a lot shorter, like in some sequences than others. Like he looks different. He has like 2 different looks in this movie, 2 distinctly different looks, and it doesn't really help a movie that's already incohesive. So try to be careful with that one, man. I do not really recommend or disrecommend that movie. I think it's a 4 because it was so long. But the action was so good that if you wanted to call it a 5, I wouldn't argue. It ain't no 6 and it ain't no 3, though. It's a 4, maybe a 5. The story was so redone and so weird. Andre from Midnight's Edge is on record saying that it was only finished because it was so far along. I tend to agree. And I'm sorry, I don't know what kind of like pollen is in the air today, but man, it's like killing my eyes and my sinuses. So I'm like muting intermittently now. Yeah, Doctor Who is really terrible. 25 minutes under the ice. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, right? So he has the special suit. And he goes down under the ice and he accomplishes a lot of the objectives. And then he takes off the special suit to fit through a small space, and he reacts in pain to the cold water. But the thing is, like, this has been described as indispensable tech, and he's down real deep. So even though it didn't look right, I was assuming it was protecting him from the pressure, but it couldn't have been. So there's no way for him to even expand his lungs. He's down so deep. So he's got like superhuman strength, and his body is like stronger than a human body. Like you would just pop. You would pop like the Titan submersible. You just would. So he's down like really deep. It's not quite crush depth for this submarine, but it's sunk in the Bering Sea, they tell him. So then he takes off the special equipment, and there's a few sequences like this. He reacts to the pain to the cold, and then he tries to ascend to the surface. We see him get most of the way there, and then we see a scene that could have been the very end of the movie. And this was so far into the movie that I think they effectively rused it. If you don't know the runtime, you'd be like, oh, well. So the thing is, it could have been that was the end of the movie, and they moved it to the middle and then just kept going. Because an hour of this movie is redundant. Half an hour of this movie is flashbacks. And that might not even be an hour of the redundancy. Some of the flashbacks are to the action sequences, so they weren't that bad to watch, But, man. So it was slow. And I didn't think the plot was all that great. So he does his 20 minutes under the ice with the suit on, but then he chops the suit off and he comes up, and like one of the other things is they restate this very specifically. He's got a radio frequency transmitter that will tell his IMF force within 2 miles, which is reasonable, where he is if he has the suit, under the ice cap to get him out. So they just find him. He kind of blacks out and he's in like his own world, and he sees wet t-shirt Haley Atwell there. So I like that. And then he kind of wakes up in a hyperbaric chamber with wet t-shirt Haley Atwell. And it reminded me nothing so much as Old School, when Will Ferrell falls into the pool and has an out-of-body experience. If Jim Phelps wasn't the bad guy in the first, I'd be okay with these films. They should have had him, Peter Gray as Jim, make a cameo as the head of IMF. I don't know if he could have pulled off that cameo because he was so old in 96. In 89, he's already just like a fossil. And he may not, I don't know what year he died, but yeah, if he could have been in it in some capacity, he even could have been an enemy bad guy as long as he had been represented for a moment. Either that or the clean break was called for. You know where he would have been good? He would have been good in when Ethan Hunt's family was arrested. have like some newsreel and have it be Peter Graves be the father. That would have worked. Maybe, that could have been given that moment, but they try to redeem and buy back the Mr. Phelps thing. And one of the things that really hurt the Mission Impossible movie was what I would call forced franchise unity. When I sat through it, it was a letdown. And I was bored. And I was confused by the plot because it was such a mess. You probably could follow it, but honestly, I just stopped caring, man. The movie tries way too hard to tie together every Mission Impossible storyline from the past, and it's just like character whack-a-mole, and you're trying to figure out why they're there and what their relevance is. Sometimes it feels like there's no rhyme or reason, just, there. And Tom Cruise's Ethan Hunt just escapes multiple situations where there's no explanation. One minute he's doomed, the next he's chilling with someone patching him up. This happens like twice. It feels like it's scavenging scraps from better spy flicks. There's a Spy Who Loved Me gag in there, and there's something right out of Living Daylights. It's a lot. And, you'd think it would have its own identity, but no. It's got really well-shot stunts. And that's the thing here I would say. Mission Impossible's legacy may be that it had so little internal lore that you could jump into their movies unexplained and just sort of watch them. That's certainly how it seemed with this one. Just jump in there and watch it. It wasn't that much of an event as far as it didn't feel like, the culmination of all these years, no matter how much they tried. And they member buried us a good deal. I didn't find it all that interesting to be member buried. It was dull. It was a little bit of lazy storytelling. And I personally, I've seen worse stories, but this one wasn't good. I wish that we could have gotten more out of the final Mission Impossible movie. I think they said that, some people liked one, but, for the most part, it wasn't well reviewed. Drinker, I think, didn't like it. Mahler, I remember saying they didn't like it. And with this movie, the not so greats are pretty universal. I would say, based on the fact that the average movie is so bad, it is really fair to give it a 4 or a 5. But it would seem generous within context of most of that franchise. I've never thought that they could really have a movie that was that much of a non-event. It was a pretty big non-event, guys. So I would say the problem is that the bullet points would be, and these were mine, boring and disengaging, the plot dragged, messy character appearances, characters show up and vanish randomly, forced franchise unity, the attempt to tie together all Mission Impossible plots feels desperate and incoherent. Unexplained escapes, recycled spy movie tropes, and then the most shocking thing was the lack of originality. It was hard to believe that we could have a Mission Impossible movie be MI8 that showed us that really Mission Impossible was just like pure escapism, which there isn't anything wrong with. But when they tried to make something more of it, they couldn't do it. They couldn't hold up the part where they made it it was like if you saw the Bond movie Quantum of Solace, where that second forgotten Daniel Craig Bond movie that was terrible. If you've seen that, you kind of know what I'm talking about. Quantum of Solace couldn't hold up or hold it together, and it tried to unite like the first movie with the second. And anytime they ran back to that Quantum of Solace thing, it went badly. And they tried to build up the Quantum was like the Spectre-like organization, but they didn't want to nail down what it was, and lack of a unified vision, and then Skyfall sort of outlier to all of it. And they never got what Bond was about with Daniel Craig. James Bond is not supposed to be a tough merc. He's supposed to be a tough, genius, educated gentleman. He's supposed to have the best of all. Like he's a really good gambler. He's a really good tough guy. He's strategic. He's a really good He's really good at planning. He's really good at games of chance of all kinds. He's really good at physical feats of strength. He's stronger than most guys. He's tougher than most guys. That's what makes James Bond something to be revered and makes a little bit of a legend, right? Like it is a little unbelievable, but the legend is where it's supposed to be. And when we start deconstructing Bond, it falls apart really, really fast. And that Bond, the tough merc Bond, I didn't find it appealing, and I don't know how many people did. James Bond is supposed to be able to like quote Shakespeare and like fire like a deadly shot at the same time. And his pithiness just was never there. This Bond never joked. He was the grimmest Bond. He was the least fun of Bonds, and he was kind of an uncool guy. So we got 6 votes. If you just got here, hit the like and follow. And here's the deal. Is Pedro Pascal a liability for a movie? Acting, no. Attitude, yes, 50%. Acting and attitude, good, nobody. Acting and attitude, bad, 33%. And 17% of you wonderful people, and you're all wonderful, like you're agnostic about it and just opted to like the stream and see the results, for which I thank you. And I think that basically we must just have something going on where I might even need to jump in on this one and get informed. I'm not going to get informed while I'm with you guys. I'm going to thank you all for being here. Lord Toxic, FKHC 2005, Shrubby 1989. It was intimate. It was cool. Lombardi 1969 and LDG Free the Net. All you guys, thanks for hanging out. And then the end of the show energy, we jump up to 5. It's so weird. You know what? Hit the follow buttons. 5 is enough people to hang around for like 5 more minutes. If you want, leave your browser open. If we stay at 5, I will commit. We need to stay at 5 for a minute, and then I'll do 5. So the first minute's on me. And I do want to entertain, and I do want to talk about stuff, but it's like, if there's so much going on, I don't know. It feels like I'm about to quit the field right as the infotainment scan problems are dialing down. And yeah, we didn't maintain it. So there's just not a lot of people out there right now. And so rather than just like beat up on the analytic, I'll make a shorter show so that more people can watch later. And thank you all for being here. I shouted everybody out, and I think that, you know, for being here, you deserve to see Sydney Sweeney again. I think that you guys have all earned it. Hey, Latino. Teague, I dismiss your review and replace it with my biased opinion. Oh, sir. Oh. Ooh. Ooh, boy. Wow. You know,
Sir, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
You know what? I did hear that another relatively hot appearance by our pal Paulie. I think Paulie has to start to elaborate more on his takes. I think this is the problem. I don't have a problem with Paulie, but he leaves me stunned. Yeah. You know what? Welcome to the Anglo Angle with Admiral Teague. You know what? I'm going to we jumped up to 5, so I'm going to maintain it. We're going to try to muscle through the low analytic for a few minutes. I guess, has the news event come to an end? Does someone want to answer me with a yes or a no? Like, they've analyzed it enough. The news event's like 30 minutes in the past for the presidential press conference. I don't. Are we at war? Is New York on fire? Is there anything I need to know? Am I going to be all right? I can stay on YouTube and entertain for a while. Does anyone want me to do that? Because I would love to do it. I would love to stay here for the show length, or at least give it like 10 more minutes. Because you know what? There is something to be said. You know what? Let's talk about YouTube philosophies. And let's talk about Latino outlooks. If whether or not people know this, and I think most people do, I'm Latino. I'm Cuban. I've got Spanish eyes. I could only have Spanish eyes, no matter how they looked. My ancestors are from Galicia in the northern part of Spain. And, you know, when people talk about oppressors, all right, you know what? Let's talk about jobs well done. Did we get most of the world? All right. So people always, you know what? Calling people an oppressor is the lament of the loser. So we strapped cannons to boats and went to where you went, and we took over. Most of them kept the Spanish language, right? They speak Spanishican in most places. And now Spanishican is the second most spoken language on Earthica, right behind Chinese. And remember, Chinese, it's debatable. There's 2 kinds of Chinese. We got people showing up. It's time to do the show. All right, welcome to the top of the show. We got people here. Take the poll. I turned off the poll. Damn it. You know what? I had another poll idea in mind, but you know what? It'll come back to me. You know what? And we see the emojis showing up. I want to thank everybody for another great month being my community. Whether you were gifted, and I mean gifted a membership, and we're up to 10 likes. That is so important. We hit a couple of milestones and 7 concurrent viewers. For me, that's great. I don't mind. I saw a guy out there, like, let's face it. You are the back of your baseball card, and I am still recovering, but I'm not going to cry foul. My flagship show is the Saturday Night Star Trek Watch Party. Watch parties, by virtue, have the lowest number, have a tough analytic. You're giving away the middle of your views, but I'm fanatical about Star Trek. And when we went to that time slot, the one thing we weren't going to do is the same thing that had been done before. And you know what? Hail to Quabi and Raquel and the Mark D with the C. They're great keepers of the flame. But we're coming up on 1 year of doing our show. And I was proud to be able to be able to do the watch parties with that community. And the reaction that we got couldn't have been better. Yeah, Tim, thank you. You know what? Remember Clobber and Times. He was a great guy, man. And you know what? We had great times with him. From time to time, I do like to go back and listen. Bird of Prey 5 is on all the time now. LDG has made a project of that. What's weird is I always seem to get there. Either Bird was aware that he was definitely in trouble for a long time, or when I get there, I always catch Bird being fatalistic. It's good to see my friend again, but he's not really there, and I can hang out and watch it for 20 minutes, but I miss Bird of Prey 5. I miss his insight, and I miss his humor. And I miss his derision, and I miss some of the things he would say. You know what? And he always endorsed everything. I remember Bird of Prey 5 say to me, Admiral Teague, you know what? You're the one who has the best view on...
Hello world, it's Bird of Prey 5. And welcome to a stream by Admiral Teague. This man has asked me to provide a video to him. He said he didn't care what I said in it, to be honest. So I said, I can do that. I can do honest. The truth is, Admiral Teague, I don't really agree with most of what he says about Star Trek.
That, to me, is what competition and friendship and friendly competition is all about. I had the ambition to be as good at Star Trek as my friend, and you know what? That's called fun. I thought it was fun that he made that video and trolled me. It couldn't have been more enjoyable to get trolled by your friend like that, and to have him, put his, a little bit of sarcasm in it. And here's the truth. We did somewhat agree a lot more on Star Trek than you would be led to believe by that. But we had major doctrinal differences, especially over controversial show Deep Space Nine. Only a couple more years away. We'll get there. We'll get to Deep Space Nine. You know what? I have been kind of closing the knowledge gap on that one slowly. And I don't, when I see his stuff again, there's this new YouTuber, this guy, he's got red hair. He looks a little like Carrot Top. He wears glasses, but his delivery and his reads are damn near perfect. His mic fucked him over. I don't know how this guy pulled it off. He did a damn near perfect read. He didn't misspeak. He didn't go back and re-say things. He wasn't it's the way, you like it. No nervous tics or habits. This guy who had 9 subs, and I followed him the other day, his Deep Space Nine analysis right up there. I really enjoyed the guy's stuff, so I'm closing the knowledge gap with that. And what's funny is he went into it, he was being really, really honest, and he said, I don't necessarily think that this was a very good episode, season 1, episode 3. So right out of the gate, also a shared opinion. Some of those Deep Space Nines weren't too good. They, as a whole, the show elevates itself and it's beloved Star Trek and it's really good Star Trek and it's real Star Trek. It's different Star Trek though. I remember Raquel Briggs when they concluded their Deep Space Nine saying it was considered the most successful but most different Star Trek show. This week, we're going to see a classic Star Trek mistake. In a show that we like and an episode that I hate, we're going to see the Xindi weapon attack Florida. It's going to cut a trench from Florida to Ecuador. It's going to be pretty freaking bizarre. It's going to be a pretty cool attack visually. It's going to be a very, very, very direct analogy to 9/11, but it was so much less heavy-handed than the immediate attempt to make 9/11 movies that nobody watched. The only movie reacting to 9/11 that people saw was a movie that was done before 9/11 and was released at the theaters in like December or January. Black Hawk Down came out and people were chanting USA throughout the whole fucking movie. People were going wild at Black Hawk Down after 9/11. Not because, they were happy, but because it was a fucking release. And because we hadn't seen enough payback yet for what happened to us. And I live in New York. And that's why this is going to be a difficult episode of Star Trek for me to watch. I don't consider it a particularly good choice for them. And I don't consider it a particularly well-crafted narrative. I will say this. Bakula, acting, absolutely top-notch throughout the Xindi arc. Absolutely top-notch. He looked at that script and knew it was inferior or something. And he dialed it up. We saw this happen to Shatner in his season 3. It happens to Bakula in his season 3. It just so happens that this season 3 is a little better. What's up, John the Beagle Dad? Hey, it's good to see you. We is good. How the heck are you, my friend? It's good to see John the Beagle Dad. So here's the deal. Enterprise, the least popular Star Trek show, now goes into its most controversial arc, which is the Xindi arc. And what we found out is we have not done a lot of Star Trek-like stuff. We will do some psychological stories. We will do stories that have quality to them. It's good stories. The episodes tend to be good. They're not very Star Trek. They're not very science fiction-y. They're action and adventure. Action and adventure at the final frontier. They're over and over. And there's been too many solo stories. We have a lack of crew cohesion going into season 3. And we know that the season 3 idea was sufficiently weak to lose them their show. We're not going to relive 9/11. I saw too much, and I'm not saying I saw much, but you know what? Just anything 9/11 is hard for me to watch too. I lived under the Dulles airport flight path at the time, and I bet I heard the flight take off. I thought it was 2 from New Jersey, 3 from Boston and 1 from Elizabeth, but maybe. I don't remember where. I know the Washington, D.C. flight circled forever. Oh, what's the great news? Did I miss a message? Let me go look at my messages. Did somebody possibly... I don't know. If it's shareable in the chat. We'll find out the great news for everybody. But you know what? Here's the thing. I think that even the writers, someone at the time... I remember at the time someone saying that like maybe one of the writers knew someone on one of the planes. What's weird is I knew some people who didn't make it, but one of my friends knew a bunch of people who didn't make it, but all the people he knew were only on 3 of the 4 planes. Shanksville and 2 of the ones here. Crazy, right? So New York, one of the capitals of the world in most sci-fi movie franchises, right? And, a great world city, attacked, terrible stuff, an event that did happen, a terrible thing, and terrible, just terrible. And, what good to say about it? It wasn't worth the fact that we were united for a while afterwards to go through it. And Hollywood tries to slap a Band-Aid on things and make them better. And right now they think that what everyone needs to feel better about is that most of this country voted for someone who won an election, and they think that needs to be soothed. Just move on and tell good stories. Hollywood's been too political for too long. In fact, there's been revelations coming out that maybe Hollywood wants to stay away from that. I don't know if George Clooney's career is going to come out of this intact. And he had entertained us for a long time. You saw the Pentagon a week after. I saw with my eyes the towers. I was far away. I didn't know I'd be all right because there were accounts of different things going on all around the city, and most of them, thankfully, turned out to be false. but there was a lot of panic. Anybody who left people running away and leaving behind a bag could then cause days of problems for everyone else. Panic in Grand Central, panic in Penn Station, panic in Broadway, panic in Central Park. I know people who watched the buildings come down from Central Park. The loudest noise you'll ever hear in your life. And so we get the Zindi attack. And I didn't really mind it that much at the time. People were doing... Hey, Snell. Yes, she was only 87. Most accounts said 87. Yeah, R.I.P. Loretta Swit. We mentioned that. We're talking about how we're going to do The Expanse, and then we're going to jump to Horizon in a couple weeks on the Enterprise arc. Snail Messiah on the very first Enterprise that I did when we discussed Broken Bow, and that got like 4,200 listens. So it looked like Enterprise had a lot more support than it did, but right now, Enterprise, I think it's that the show has gotten good. I think we're overcoming Enterprise. Enterprise has been a little bit of an impediment, but we had to start there. There was no rewinding, and there was no doing the original series. The show had made it, the previous show had made it to the end of Voyager. It was only logical to do Enterprise. We tried to have as much optimism, and going in, I had a lot. The thing is, season 1 is pretty darn good, but there are a few uncanny mistakes they shouldn't have made that really came back to haunt them. Haunt them, and haunt them they did. Now, as far as season 2, the budget slashing and too many solo adventures bogged down season 2, and it gets confused and convoluted. Not that you can't follow the thread, it's just that we don't have enough cohesion within the crew bonding and working together. And that's not Star Trek when it's just a bunch of individuals interacting. They're not interacting enough. There weren't enough of the crew. The writers sort of caught unprepared for Mr. Mayweather to have a hard ceiling on his acting. He's a bad actor. He has gotten a little better at saying, "Aye, sir." But that's like because he can't say anything else. They have given most of his lines to Hoshi and Reed, especially Reed. Why is Reed being asked about anything out there? He now has censors. The helmsman is just given orders to lay in the course. Like, "Aye, sir." Travis, bearing 341. "Aye, sir." Like, that's it. And sometimes it's just like, "Aye, sir." It's just like, sometimes Travis just recites lines. It's Kyle Cullen, my friend who usually comes through on the slides. Good to see you live. And yeah, R.I.P. Hot Lips. We spoke about it earlier. We didn't really recap her career. I know she did other stuff than MASH, but you know what? She was beautiful. She was talented. She was fun, and she was funny with great comedic timing. And she acted in a specific kind of sitcom. MASH probably will have a slight uptick in popularity because she was so well liked. But the thing is, it wasn't made. It's not a modern enough show. They didn't make shows like this in the 60s. I don't know of 60s shows with laugh tracks. Lucy has no laugh track. Lucy has a live audience, right? They record the Lucy audience in stereo. The I Love Lucy audience is the audience for Scooby-Doo. The laughter in the first original Scooby-Doo, that's why you always hear the same coughing. That's why you always hear the same clearing of the nose. When you listen to the laughter on these earlier sitcoms, especially MASH, they didn't even hunt for different reactions. They had one of each, and after halfway through the show, you start to recognize the laughter, and it becomes a little bit of a drag. Yes, Mr. Mayweather set the score 69, set course to 69, mark 69. Yes, he was as good as giving as he was receiving acting ability. I don't know what to say. Like, part of this was cowardice by the writers and the director. But the thing is, if you do controversial things, we really notice it in the episode Detained, which might have been an early indication. It wasn't series breaking, but like, they do so many things to get Dean Stockwell on their show. And okay, you should. But then they don't make anything with what they had to do with the show. Straight and steady. This is no grinding time. Take that plug out of the rear impulse exhaust, mister. I'm talking to you. You know what's funny? I could just imagine Travis. Could you imagine if we could have Travis and Sulu? Like, you know that they're going to do that one day. They'll take like the all gay Starfleet crew, right? It'll just be like Sulu and Mayweather and Gregorio and whoever else. And, I can't highlight that one, but I agree with Tim's chat there. What do I do? Will it show up like this? No, only new ones show up when I turn on the weird. Can you guys even see it? I wonder if it shows up. Like, if I turn on the on-screen comments, no, the field doesn't retransmit apparently. But we did lose Hot Lips. We did have a terrible Doctor Who episode, absolutely terrible. And also we have an episode of Star Trek coming up that, while all right, tries to make things better, and it can't. Its goals are impossibly high to make everyone feel okay about what happens only a year and a half earlier on 9/11. Never going to happen. It was never going to happen. People were fucking angry. If anything else, anger rose and controversy deepened. And like a lot of the modern questioning of society starts with that loose change thing and other stuff. And I don't want to get too deep into it, but people, it happened. 9/11 happened pretty much the way it was described. I believe pretty much the way it happened. And we all know why I'm saying it. But, you could get, it's an anniversary I dread every year. 19 assholes fucked up my city. And, some heroic people stopped another attack over the skies in Pennsylvania. And, it wasn't worth it to get the unity we got out of it. And even though this is better than any movie they tried to make about it, no one wants to be reminded, and it's only just so good. It's only just so good. So this week, we're going to have a really good watch party. We're going to enjoy the episode of The Expanse, and then we're going to cherry pick the best of this Xindi arc. We'll fill you in on what goes on, and then I don't even know if it's going to happen, because once again, the Paramount sale got held up. The Paramount sale, again in limbo. Trump turned down the $15 million settlement. He has a right to do that, by the way. I'm only frustrated about this because of what it means to Star Trek. I think if you let the Ellisons in there, they would shut down Kurtzman. I think Kurtzman's day is done. I think people are sick and tired of hearing from Kurtzman, and I think they want I think they want something better. You could let the TV Star Trek cool off for 4 or 5 years and launch a new franchise of movies with a different crew. Don't reboot anything. Give us the adventures of the USS Yorktown. Make it a little bit after the Next Generation. Go into the future. Go a little bit past into the future. Get out of your comfort zone. Go out there and spread your Trek wings. Honestly, I wouldn't mind. How about talking about Picard in retrospect? Go out. The only thing they got right in Picard 3 is that it happens in their future after TNG. We should be about as far after TNG as the real world has advanced in this time. And that would help us out. But no, they lack the courage. And one of the things we find out is that Enterprise is suffering from prequelitis. It's a prequel to a sequel. Or it's a prequel to sequels, right? Because it's a sequel to everything, but it's a prequel to everything. It's the ultimate prequel to it's the ultimate sequel that's a prequel, and it's a sequel that's a prequel that's a prequel to nothing, because everything comes after it is before it, and then its continuity is more or less wiped away. It's the only show that possibly could still stand with the new modern Star Trek continuity, but I don't know that anybody wants it to. In the comics world, they closed down the STD universe. They did something in the live action universe to indicate that they walked away from it, but the characters are still out there. Tilly's in Star Trek Academy. Saru's in Star Trek Academy. Where'd they come from? How'd Star Trek Discovery never happen? It happened. The people from Strange New Worlds know the people from Discovery. They talk about the battle of the Star Trek Discovery all the time. It's like the most famous event in their universe. And we see that same 1 second of CGI with the Romulans shooting at the Enterprise. I'm sorry, at the Discovery as it warps away into the future. And it's just absolute trash. And I mean, opening up the hole in space-time with a lot of weapons we've done that before, but like, nobody, I mean, at least they're out of this continuity and possibly into a different multiverse, but we're sick of multiversing. And Enterprise, it messes around a little bit into the multiversing, which, let's face it, no one wants. Whoops, I didn't want to highlight on that one. How about explore fluidic space? You know what? some of those things are just so weird. The dialogue about that, exploring fluidic space, the temporal Cold War. The temporal Cold War was an idea they never should have done. That was the worst part about Broken Bow. If that bad guy faction had any other motive, I maintained the time travel turned people off and made them want out of it. That was the thing. At the end of all good things, Q tells Picard that they're not supposed to just have a little trek in the stars. If you remember, he tells them that now they have to visit other dimensions and other times, and they have to go, like, explore space, and yeah, maybe fluidic space, but whatever. They have to go do like Q-like things and travel through time and space and change stuff. And it was stupid and un-Trek-like, and it didn't help the TNG movies, which had time travel in 1 and 2. Time travel in episodes 1 and 2 really destroyed the TNG movies. We got one more show coming at you this month. We will be covering Star Trek Enterprise. And we will be covering, and you know what? It's a discussion show. You get to watch it with us. We bring the receipts. You will get to see and watch with us and enjoy Star Trek Discovery. I'm sorry. You'll never enjoy that. Star Trek. Actually, it's not Star Trek yet. It's just called Enterprise. After this episode, they're called Star Trek Enterprise. We're watching Enterprise. And this episode, whatever, we're throwing, the next one after this is going to be, I believe, I don't know what to do the week of the 7th. It's a special kind of week. And then the week after that is Flag Day, Trump's birthday, and Father's Day all at once. That's going to be big. We're going to try to do something for that. And, see, this is the thing. Star Trek for the Voyage Home time travel is okay, and what they could have done is they could have used that same method of time travel in the in Star Trek First Contact, and it would have been a better movie. It was that the temporal wake was so fucking dumb. I mean, do I still have it? Do you guys remember this brief? I made this brief little piece of video for you guys about the history of the Borg sphere. It was a complete history of the Borg sphere. I put it up on YouTube as a member video. It was so dumb. I mean, here's my new Trek mashup thing.
Insufficient sensor data. Incorrect.
10 fucking grueling hours.
It's horrible. New Trek is a horror story. Just the story of how we got here is even just it is so horrible. I can't begin to tell you how much I disdain the new modern Star Trek, but I will brave it for you guys.
Doesn't anyone see that this is wrong?
No, Tuvix, they've been selling this as good, acceptable Star Trek. I ran into some hipsters. I guess they still exist. And the guy looked a little like Kurtzman. It was weird. It wasn't Kurtzilla himself, but he had the new Star Trek badge on, and he was with his girlfriend. I'll keep my remarks about their appearances to myself. They had natural hair color. That was a nice switch. They seemed like maybe they just didn't know any better. They were freaked out by Admiral Teague. I approached them and I asked them about the Star Trek logo. I was like, oh, you got the Starfleet comm badge. That's cool. And the guy's like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, so you like Star Trek? And he's like, well, I don't like, Star Trek Discovery. And I'm like, oh, great. And he was like, but I probably would watch Strange New Worlds. And I was like, ooh. And I was like, did you like Section 31? He's like, oh, absolutely not. That was awful. And I was like, yeah. So, these people they seem to make sense. These were reasoned opinions. Someone had sold to these people that Star Trek Strange New Worlds was a good show. It is not. And in fact, in my opinion, it's communist propaganda, and we all have an obligation to stand up against it. It's wrong. It's wrong to put it on TV, and it's wrong to let it go unchallenged. I absolutely defy the idea that we should have to take it from the people who put this out. It is hard peddling of soft communism, and there's no room for it. It's wrong in the common discourse, and it's wrong to have out there labeled as Star Trek. And to get by that it's good, they're going to spoon feed these people fucking communism. So when I said that, I'm like, well, I mean, honestly, Section 31 is a pretty good representation of what you're going to get from Strange New Worlds. They were shocked. There's going to be another musical episode. It has been promised. What are you saying, Tim? The time travel part, the Borg cube could have done what they did in the voyage home and the Battle of the Enterprise. He followed. The battle was fun to watch. The thing is, the Borg cube could have gone home. The battle could have transpired, and I'm sorry, I'm sneezing. The battle could have transpired more or less the way we saw it, and the Borg cube could have been launched. Could have launched the Borg sphere, and they could have been like, Data, what's going on? It's initiating singularity, sir. It's like, time travel. Match them. So, like, they try to, like, maybe match them time travel to time travel so that they could maybe find something, you know, like, to home in on. It's like, what are they trying to do? It's like, the tachyons indicate they're going to this year, and then follow that? I mean, you could have done that, but no. They couldn't do it. Bev says in the middle of the conversation, if they erase history, why are we still here? And for whatever reason, they decide to have that conversation. Why? I don't know. I don't know why they decided to have that, but for whatever reason, they decided to have that episode, and we didn't need it, but there it was. We're stuck with it, and it was the story of Star Trek Regeneration is so dumb. And it really was, it wasn't helping. And one of the major problems with it was that the Borg aren't scary anymore. The Borg hadn't been scary in a while, and I blame that all on Voyager. Voyager wrecked it. Check out this archival footage.
Unable to comply.
This unit is the ultimate achievement in computer evolution.
Automatic defense procedures initiated.
Time travel.
So notice Will Riker pointing out right there the plot hole. They initiate it themselves.
But if they changed history, why are we still here?
All right. That was said just so that we wouldn't question this stupid fucking temporal wake. That's when the robot says a bunch of bullshit about how maybe the temporal wake like protected us from the, blowback from the hole in time and we're insulated. So thank God for this temporal wake. Don't think about it. They could have just seen time travel, like turning back and been like, I don't know why we were isolated from it, but let's go fight it. They bring up the problem just so they can address the problem. Check it out.
Automatic defense procedures initiated.
Time travel.
But if they changed history, why are we still here?
Thank you for your attention.
And of course, they were shooting at Bozeman, Montana, which is, the home of Zefram Cochrane, which means that Zefram Cochrane is a descendant of the Dutton family and related to Kevin Costner. I don't know what to tell you on this one. I thought that, the time wake was dumb. I thought that it reinforced already existing fan theories about how Star Trek Generations ended all Star Trek, because there's no way Picard could have come out of that dream, and that maybe that's how it should be. And it was a better way to think about it, because they didn't do the greatest job with Star Trek Generations. Then when we do Die Hard in Space, and we have Captain Picard have his moment and stuff like that, and he's got to take his ship back from the Borg. He's a sociopath who's no fun, who has to be talked down by. It's woman-splained to him. It's like the first time we see it. It's an early instance of woman-splaining. Alfred Woodward, you broke your little ships. I mean, he's going to be an asshole about all of it and end all of humanity. He could have just fixed everything right there. Like, yeah, well, it would have changed history, but like the alternative was like losing everything and the ship, just like for like a one chance in a million to save the ship. He was retarded in that freaking movie, and so like people wanted the Nexus to be the end of Star Trek. So I just kept reapplying it, and in Enterprise we see more evidence than ever that maybe the writers also heard this fan theory and that they played to it, because they didn't double the cast of Star Trek, the Next Generation, in the crowd when they redid First Contact. They reshow First Contact, and they don't double the members of the crew, and they weren't that much older. They would have looked the same. Didn't even bring them back. So you could have doubled them and had people in their jackets and not seen their faces, or you could have brought some of them back, but no, nothing even close till that last stupid episode. So that is just really a bad mistake that hurts it. Too many solo side quests, an entire season of side quests with only 4 or 5 episodes about the ship and the crew. We build this set just to never use it. And, soon we're going to compromise Malcolm. Malcolm's going to be working for like Section 31's like stupid equivalent. A lot of stuff we didn't like gets codified in Enterprise, and you know what? It's a bad praise for the Star Trek franchise, but you know what, guys? I want to thank everyone again. We're gonna wrap it up, but we got like a surge of engagement. It was worth sticking around. 12 likes is great. Could you get me up to 15? I closed the poll. I'm sorry. What are you gonna do? The poll was like, do you think Pedro Pascal is a liability for a movie? Acting, no. Attitude, yes. 50%, which probably fair. Acting and attitude, bad. 33%. It's fair as well. 16% of you just opted to like the stream and like the results, see the results. Thank you. No one thought he was both a good attitude and acting. So it's like, yeah, if you want a good performance, you got to put up with this guy who might just embarrass you. The licking the rainbow baton while dancing like a crazy person, that was whatever. I mean, I guess he's cutting loose, but what was he drunk? He dresses just so incredibly terrible. Pedro's style, it's just, I don't know what to tell you. It's just like somebody let a 12-year-old loose with a credit card. I mean, look at this. All right, so that guy's a terrible thing, but he looks like he at least knew more or less how to show up to the premiere of his movie. Then next to him is Sue Storm, the only properly cast person in this piece of shit. Then next to them we have Grandpa Energy Pedro Pascal, who, I mean, Sean, this man's 50 years old. Has this man dyed his hair, Sean? Sean, Krimlon, are you out there, Krimlon? This man has dyed his hair. Look at that shirt. It's all the flags of the world. What is it? It looks old and ratty too. Like what? Some fella left his United Colors of Benetton shirt at your house in 1988, and you still got it because you're still in love. What's the deal? And you know what? The transparent frame glasses, they're a bad choice. Kurtzman, upper right, does them too. You know what? If you have these glasses, more power to you. I'm not knocking you, but as you can see, like the frameless glass, like the translucent frames in the glasses, I guess they're going to make your glasses hard to find when you're not wearing them. I guess you need glasses in the first place, right? And second of all, like it's just like. It has a strange, slightly uncanny effect on the photograph here for Pedro. He should have whipped them off. I mean, and honestly, like, I go with contact lenses, and this is why. Contact lenses actually have cost me less than glasses because I broke 2 pairs of glasses in the first 6 months that I was YouTubing. So I bought contact lenses so that I could wear my headphones. It was either headphones or glasses. It's really the way it is. It was making it hard to read. And so, like, I actually have come now after years of not using them to prefer the contact lenses. But you know what? Like, I need glasses too. So whatever, he wears glasses. I go with, like, you know, enamel frames, you know, and, you know, maybe glasses that are either my age or younger. These are just a little, I'm sorry, either my age or, you know, like at this point, I don't want to go older, right? It's kind of going to be impossible in a few more years to go older, but, you know, like, I'm about Pedro's age. So Pedro is not wearing the age as well as I am. And or my friend Sean, who's the same age as Pedro. Sean looks 1,000 times better than Pedro. I look 1,000 times better than Pedro. And this guy's a movie star. I mean, he's paunchy. He's got grandpa energy. And, like, the mustache, it's a little too much of a prawn stash. He didn't groom. I don't know. Did he wax his chest? He never seems to be shaved. He always looks terrible. He couldn't just throw on a suit with a t-shirt. Timothée Chalamet wears a suit with a black t-shirt to his premieres. He looks fine. He's not dressed overly well. He's not. And he lost the Timothée Chalamet lookalike contest in Central Park, but at least he has a sense of humor and he's fun. Pedro's not fun. When Pedro is having fun, it's cringe. Pedro with the freaking lightsaber baton, whatever it was, rainbow bright staff that he's licking, that was not fun. That was cringe. No one enjoyed it. No one enjoyed it. So at any rate, then we have this guy at the end. Like, I don't know what the deal is with our Human Torch. He's got a zero fade, I guess, right now. He's balding. Johnny Storm is balding. The Human Torch is balding. He's balding. We got Flaming Guy balding. You know, our fireman is balding, and he's got this, like, I guess compared to Pedro, I can't criticize anyone. A bit underdressed. I would go with a coat rather than a jacket on this occasion. But I don't know how much publicity we've done. Vanessa Kirby dressed beautifully and appropriately. Get dirty, ratty shirt wearing Pedro out of the way. Pedro's shirt needs to be dry cleaned very, very badly. Very, very badly. It is dingy. It is dingy. And there's no rhyme or reason to the flags. He's got, what is that, Norway, the Philippines, Malaysia, Japan, Mexico. I don't understand his shirt. There's no logic to his fucking shirt. And then whatever, like the other guy, like the two most appropriate people dressed here are the guy who plays the Thing and the guy who plays, and the chick who plays Sue Storm. And I guess it's gonna be a Sue Storm movie. She's never gonna look this pretty in the movie. We see all the moments that she's gonna be pretty in the trailer, is my prediction. She's pregnant and wearing the Preggers uniform in the sequence that I saw where she's talking to Galactus. So I'm not holding out a lot of hope for this movie, but I have agreed to go see this movie. Superman also, we're hearing about reshoots for both and trouble for both. I don't know what to tell you guys. Problems all over the place. Reshoots for Superman, reshoots for Fantastic Four, problems with the pacing and ending. Up to 30 minutes of James Gunn's movie cut because it was too fucking cornball. I'm interested if he starts making noise about restoring his cut, because I think that maybe it might be that bad. I think that maybe nobody wants his cut restored. Then with the Fantastic Four, the retrofuturism has gone too far. We haven't even gotten around to how bad Pedro's pants look. He looks like a hobo. He just looks terrible. The guy in the end, you know, I mean, I'm not going to gig him for no tie. I mean, good jacket, pretty good. I mean, pretty full lapels. I prefer a more narrow cut, but okay. He wore a suit, a nice suit, nice gray suit. That's very good color. Good shirt. I can't see his shoes. I'm going to assume they're appropriate. Guy on the far left, the guy who plays Johnny Storm, he's underdressed, but compared to Pedro, everyone looks great. I mean, okay, wear your Tennessee tuxedo to the fucking movie opening. I don't get it. But this is like Basically, he wanted to drink deeply of the soy and be like, this kind of really, really boring, non-chick digging, non-assertive, very backseat driver, bargain basement, dollar store Johnny Storm, and I don't think any of us wanted. Anyone, if I'm distracting you right now and helping you to enjoy, getting through your day of work, if you can, leave me a comment when you're done. That'll help get more people here later. The re-listening has really gone up across the board for the talk show, as well as the re-listening on the Star Trek streams. The Star Trek streams now flirting with or getting to 500 on a regular basis. We are now immune to the episode. We're staying away from the worst ones, but you know what? The Expanse, it's not the worst Star Trek episode. It's not the worst analogy to 9/11 by far. It's the only one that I can take. I don't think it'll make me overly emotional. I'm going to watch it ahead of time. I don't think that maybe for fun I'll make like a Starfleet archival history of the Xindi weapon, but we're going to watch it. So I don't know. Maybe it might be funny though. It might still be funny. I don't know. I'll make my own call on that one tomorrow. I can only put so much into this 9/11 related project. You have to understand, I don't want to go sideways and go have a slanted view of this. You know what? According to the reshoots for Superman are standard pickups. Yeah. See, you know what? I'll tell you this. My Fender Telecaster has standard pickups. That's nonsense. You know what? I don't know. I mean, Latino Slant has claimed to have access to he goes to screenings with the cast, so he has access to the cast. I'm not calling him access, but he does get to talk to some people who the rest of us don't. So maybe that also falls into his desire to be sort of a little more positive than most people about these productions, which I don't know. His takes on some of these movies have baffled me. And I also think that he could have a lot of interest in a very engaging stream if he was to really unpack some of these takes. But when we've seen him try to unpack the takes, it's like, it seems to go like, as Sean said, a little bit sideways, and it's not like a standard pickup. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem standard. The movie's coming out July 11th. Convenient, right? We're doing pickups a day, like June is like 25 hours away. In 25 hours, it'll be June. Whatever. I'm sorry. Whatever. 36 hours from now, it'll be fucking June. We're almost there. In parts of the world, it'll be June in 25 hours. In parts of the world, it's June already. June has begun down. Like, I think you know what? Hey, Miss Katonic, I'm sorry I did not see you come in. Jason Love, did I fail to greet you when you came in too? Tino G, good to see you. Shrubby's from down under. Shrubby, is it June? Shrubby's been here hanging out. It was good that Shrubby came by, keeping me company early as we had the news event in the USA. I don't know what to tell you guys as far as this Fantastic Four movie or the Superman movie looking worse. Yeah, Sean has family in the movie industry. I live in New York. I meet a lot of people. I know people. I live in New York. I've survived in this city almost I'm about as old as Pedro, right? So I might not have much more to account for myself that I somehow survived in New York all this time. I've met people. I've known people. I've been here. I've been in a city where you run into people who've been to New York for 15 minutes are like, did I tell you about the time I saw Axl Rose at JFK Airport? And like, I hear this shit all the time. Every single New Yorker I know sees someone at the airport. My friend saw Belinda Carlisle from the Go-Go's there. I mean, there's no avoiding it. It's like a bottleneck where like everybody mixes together. It's like, it's the fucking airport, right? But the pickups are for network TV network TV is different. And Disney Plus found out that they can't do pickups like that. For the Mandatorian, which I call now also the Grogalorian, they were filming what amounts to the sideshow for that, the Book of Blobafat. They were filming that. Like, they were only about 10 days ahead of their production schedule. They were able to plug in a couple of already completed Mandalorian episodes to get rid of 2 episodes outright. And then they did something else which jerked up their time frame really, really badly. Their time frame is supposedly that that Grogu is with Luke for 2 or 3 years. And, you know, I think Doomcock would be the first one if I had him here right now. I remember he was cool enough to respond in the chat because I was really asking him a lot. Every time it came up, I asked him, I said, do you think that the structure in the woods where Luke is talking to Grogu is the same structure from Last Jedi? And at the time he thought no, but like we've confirmed that we're going ahead and confirming the sequel trilogy. It's not going to be thrown out of canon. It might be like, you know, multiverse, but that's the best we can hope for. So it's my considered opinion that we were already reinforcing The Last Jedi in that weird episode of Blobafat where Ahsoka and the Mandatorian, the Grogalorian, meet up on, like, I don't know, Megan's Law world where fucking Luke hangs out, the dick. They leave him there, and then he, like, uses R2 to, like, Uber this child home. What if Grogu had, like, used the Force to open up the fucking cockpit? He's 50 years old. He has no knowledge. He still acts like a baby. He's picked up 0 wisdom in 50 years. Is he like? Is he supposed to be like him and Pedro are the same character? They're both 50 with 0 wisdom. Is Grogu based on Pedro? And what's going to happen when Pedro? I mean, when Grogu gets a voice, who's going to voice it? William H. Macy? And will he have a speech impediment? He shouldn't. He shouldn't have a problem. It should be English as a first language for Grogu, which is maybe not the best name, but here we have our Fantastic Four. I could show you our Superman. It's just as bad. We've heard that the editor got fired at Superman. The pickups and reshoots for Superman are normal. Was firing the fucking editor normal, Sean? Is firing the editor and having it come out now normal? And is it bringing in also the second person to score the movie? We have another person on the score. We brought in a second person to write additional music. We cut the movie, but we needed more music. This usually, to me, would say that they're trying to tonally shift it, because if you listen to any action sequence, if you watch Duel of Fates and you swap in Star Trek action music, it still works, but it's a different feel, but it still works. It's weird. Hello, Casey's Creepy Creations. Hail to you, sir. It's good to see, or sir or madam, I can't tell. Hello, Casey's Creepy Creations. Great to see you. Is this Casey Asowski, though? It's Casey Asowski, isn't it? It's good to see you. Welcome. How about next Friday I show The Longest Day? Maybe for members, but I would send you an invite. Or maybe I'll watch it with subscribers in a member room. I don't think I'll do another watch party for it. We've watch partied Longest Day a couple of times, and I have my issues with Longest Day. I'd love to maybe, my desire would be to have Lance S.A. Nielsen on and have a discussion about the movie because he's so passionate about it, and I have a few problems with it. Okay, Casey, it's you. It's great to see you, buddy. I hope you're doing all right, and it's good to, welcome to the chat. We're just talking about Pedro Pascal. I mean, the best thing I could do is leave up this picture. Guys, make your favorite joke about Pedro's freaking outfit. By the way, we also got an episode of Doctor Who where Hell was portrayed as being married to his current female companion. So, hey, maybe. But they lived in like an idyllic world with just like giant dinosaur bones walking around in the sky. It was fucked up and dumb. Like, stupid kind of dumb. And I used to really enjoy Doctor Who as this soft and enjoyable time travel story that sometimes had no breaks and we had to laugh at. But this was so much dumber than the usual. So much dumber than the usual Doctor Who. The last Doctor Who I watched was unconscionably stupid, and I couldn't enjoy myself for 2 minutes. And that's even though we saw Ruby, who's pretty hot. And the thing is, they try to make an analogy to disabled people. Was it this? Germ was yelling and yelling. It was so angry about the way they betrayed it and the pandering in Doctor Who. We got some great takes from him last night, and just a lot of people deeply insulted, including myself. And, I give nothing away. I'm not saying I'm disabled, not saying I'm not. I'm just saying, like, it found, like, anyone would be insulted. I was insulted intellectually. I was insulted as a fan. And if I were disabled, I would say this: I didn't need these people represented as like these fun-loving fucking criminals in Wish World. We could wish for and have anything. They chose to be criminals. I don't know why. They were like walking around, and they were also like, asking people to give them money. They had like the paper cup routine going on, and that's like a stereo. And he's like, this is supposed to right wrongs and have people like feel better. Yeah, Miskatonic's like, right. Yeah. Baker and Pertwee, classic Who. Baker, the flowering of Doctor Who. I could watch it over and over and over. You know what I really want? I want like, I want like an ottoman of K9 that I can keep like DVDs or something in, or weed. Like the cops would never think to look there. Well, the cops don't look for that anymore. They just give it back to you. But you know what? Like, look at this fantastic forecast. It's terrible. I don't know if we could say Pedro Pascal with the grandpa energy. Like, the only thing I can say is he looks more like he digs Vanessa Kirby when he's having his moments with her in the movie, which means he's mildly interested in her, the way you look at your sister's not so hot friend, but who digs you, because it's like you could. Like that amount of interest, like I could, but does I? So I don't know what to say about it. But it's like he has no energy with her, but like it's more than we see from Ncuti Gatwa when he's with his companion, and he's kind of just like trying to. They're talking about being a married couple, and it's very WandaVision. And the only thing I would say that was cool about it was that they gave him a purple 19th century suit with a bowler hat, and it was the only time he's looked like Doctor Who. Like, he actually looked like the Doctor there for a couple of minutes. But it was passing and vestigial. They picked up a companion, like an older lady now. She looked like she was like maybe like 60s, and I couldn't tell which companion it was. It's just like I had no context, and I've missed a lot of Doctor Who. Like, there's some that you don't watch. And she just got bagged on. And I don't know who she was. She could have been a Whittaker companion. Or she could have been from like way back in the day and been some beloved companion. I just don't know. But we've got this 60-year-old franchise that seems like it can only exist on this model where your taxes pay for television, which is, once I realized that you have no choice in what's on TV, but your taxes pay for it in England, I started to have a lot more understanding of why people were so outspoken about what was on TV there and had so much back. Because you're forced to subsidize it, and it's garbage, and it's also like forcing like a very specific idea on everyone as though that idea is general, and it's not doing it in a kind way either. So it's not like you can ignore the message and just like enjoy your story. There is no story. The story serves the message, what story there is. And it just sort of been spiraling out of control for years with like both Doctor Who and Star Trek. And it's been really bad in Doctor Who. But if you think you've seen bad, like the Star Trek episodes we're going to get into in a couple of weeks, really just some of the very worst, bottom of the barrel entertainment you've seen. And the reason I really want us to watch this, guys, I mean, do we let this creeping communism metastasize through the Star Trek community? You know what? I want to be known, if the people are going to identify us with Star Trek, let them know that we are rebels. Let them know that we do not agree with the current modern Star Trek. Let them know that we stand against the hard communism being soft-sold in shows like Strange New Worlds. I don't believe that we should have to be subjected to it. Now, we don't subsidize it. It's private endeavor. But you know what? They've been existing in a circumstance, in a consequence-free environment for a long time over there in Kurtzman world. Kurtzilla and his ilk, they don't have any consequences. There's no one driving the freaking car. The adults haven't been in the house for like 18 months. At freaking, there's no one to fire him at Paramount. He feels like he's just over my shoulder like a monkey on my back, just dogging my every steps. Kurtzilla, leave me alone. It's like I try my best to just like get through like, an episode of these shows, and he's so reliant on nervous breakdown trope. Characters walk in with the veneer of being composed. If the actor's good, they get across that they're not as composed as they're trying to get across. But that's always the default. You don't need to watch it. The show is going to start with an interaction where a person walks up to someone acting composed, but they're not as composed as they're supposed to be, whether you can tell from the actor's skill or not. Then the person they walk up to, after having their backstory spoken to them by the composed person, turns around and decomposes the person. You just heard that one used that way by me here for the first time. They decompose the composed person and put them into a nervous breakdown. Then that person tells their own backstory while nervous, verifying the backstory told to them by the cocksure person, which is a word that doesn't get used enough. So in Section 31, we have this guy, Space Peter Graves, Space Mr. Phelps, walks up to freaking Space Hilter. Michelle Yeoh, not a bad actress, but she's terrible in this. Her acting is wasted in it. She's awful. Section 31 is garbage, but that's exactly what happens. Composed person walks up to her. She decomposes or unnerves him by countering him and telling him that, this is who your team is. It's this guy. It's that girl. It's that girl. It's this guy. It's that guy. And it's that Vulcan who's laughing because Vulcans are so emotional. And it's just like, duh. And then he has his nervous moment and then reconfirms what she says. She reads him his backstory. He has a meltdown, says her backstory. She smugly confirms it. He nervously explodes his own backstory. And then we start the narrative. Every goddamn character interaction. I've got mech dysphoria. Like augmenting and upgrading is now mech dysphoria. Everyone has to have a neurosis. Everyone has to have a problem. It's feelings in hallways again. They had the white guy drill himself with his hand bit drill. He had a drill bit in his hand for some reason. I don't know. The mech suit turned out to be a problem. Don't wear hackable tech when you know the aliens are hacking everything. But no. This guy, how come no one's ever hacked Picard's heart? Why wouldn't they just do that? Pedro looks like he shops at the thrift store. He looks like he went to the dumpster at the thrift store. It doesn't even look like he shops there. It looks like this is like stuff the thrift store is like, it's been here taking up space. That shirt is wearable if you're in a punk rock band, over a black t-shirt or a Black Sabbath black t-shirt, under a black leather jacket with those pants playing guitar. Then you're all right. But how the hell is he fucking dressed? And then Vanessa Kirby looks lovely. She took this seriously. The guy who played the Thing, he's like, this is the only time people will ever see me. I better not look the fool. And then Johnny Storm, he just sucks. His look sucks, but I mean, it's better than Pedro's. Like having a sucky look is like having a great look today compared to this guy. And shop is just like a compliment. These clothes were just, the thrift store gave up on him, man. These were outside by the dumpster. He hauled them off on his own. No one told him to do it. He did it to himself. Guys, this is now 2:37. I want to thank all of you. Casey, thanks for coming by. Sean, Miskatonic, do me a favor. After I'm done, hit refresh. Leave me a comment, even if it's just an emoji. Leave me. If you don't leave me the emoji, leave me the D.O. devil horns. Show me your devil horns. Show them to me. All right, or whatever, give me that, give me an emoji, give me something, and it really helps the stream. It's the super chat. You don't have to leave. Hopefully people coming through later, I love you all. You always do the best for me, and if you can listen to the stream with the browser tab open for a little while, it's really helpful. It's really, really helpful. So thank you all very much for being with me. Thank you for another great month to my community and my community founders. It was great to have this intimate stream. We covered it all. And now I'm going to find out what the hell happened in the news. Sean Carter, Casey, Miskatonic. You were the only people to get here since I shouted everyone else out. And I said hi, but let's try it again. Jason Love, Kyle Cullen, Snail, Oh, it's so good to see Snail. Lombardi 1969. Latino G. Hello. Hey there. Lord Toxic, my friend. It's good to see you. Shrubby. Good to see you, Shrubby. Thanks for coming by, mate. It's good to see people from down under showing up. Lombardi 1969 was here. Friends, one and all. Hit the like and follow. LDG also here. Kind of a different day. Huge vortex in the show with the news event. Anyone who can help me fill it in later by watching for a little while with the tab open, it's appreciated. Makes up for all the times that you can't do it at all. And, Admiral's just here to entertain. All I ask for is likes and a few minutes, like with the tab open. Aside from that, I love you all. I thank you all. We got a lot of new members. We're not up to emoji territory yet. Things would have to change in a huge way. We have about 75 people. We need to get to like 100, and then we get the next one. But you know what? Pride weather in the name of love. Pride weather come in the name of love. Flies on the horizon with his dad. Warp 2, it'll take 5 years. Oh, God. We're going to have so much fun. I got to maybe I'll write a Pride Weather song parody. I have till the 14th to do it. It's not like I have to have that one done by tomorrow. So we'll have something for you and some fun. We can poke a little fun at this corporate side of this holiday we're all going to have to deal with it for a month. So we're going to actually satirize it instead of just, and everyone's allowed to have any feelings they want about it. And I agree. I again say, within the laws of the United States of America, God and man, love who you want. But other than that, you know what? Fuck you. Progress? We've come far enough, in my opinion. Call me old and set in my ways. Pride? We'll always have that. All right. Love who you want. But for God's sakes, be an American. There's only one flag that really counts. And on the 14th, Flag Day, we're going to be watching the Horizon episode because it'll be hilarious. You know what? It's somebody's birthday. I've heard I have heard that on June 14th, our president will be older.
Sure. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
But don't you think that maybe people should know how old you are?
That was so controversial. Sir.
Oh my gosh, hey, Ruby Hoove. I can't, how does this, all right, this is a little funny. Ruby Hoove, I want to thank you very much for the, for the gift and, for the gift membership. And I guess I'll address this. This has now happened twice in 2 shows. I appreciate it. Ruby Hoove, thank you so much. And the goal of this show is always to entertain everyone who listens and to have fun. And you know what? The last few weeks have been a great experience for me because I haven't had to deal with a lot of incoming. And there's been no outgoing fire. But this is, Sean, 2 in a week. Listen, I'm not addressing this to anybody, and I'm not saying a name. But I'm going to be honest. You're listening. This is the truth. YouTube 101. Take all your energy and focus it inwards. Maybe learn how to make some uploaded content. Get behind a show that people like, that you can enjoy. One that you can watch 8 or 9 times because you'll have to. Learn how to make edited uploads. It takes your mind off the YouTubing. It takes your mind off the live streaming. If you are only a live streamer, let alone one that almost always goes on with a panel, never goes on alone. Look at Admiral. I am here, and I am just, mono world, right? It's me and the world. And anyone can come here, and as we see, anyone will. Now, I would say that this is a wonderful thing for Ruby Hoove to support me, and I'm going to earn every bit of that gift, Ruby Hoove. It doesn't matter who the gifted membership goes to. And I'm going to make a membership video because we are at a high point and because we have so many members. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart, Ruby. It's about entertaining you. I'm not going to take any shots at anybody. But YouTube 101, Chapter 2. If you're mostly a live streamer, it's really rivalrous. It's really rivalrous. And if you fall into a point where someone starts to get on your nerves, you're not going to do yourself any favors by listening to their show and waiting. And you're not going to be, if you don't like someone and you've made it your cause not to like them, and you've been told by everyone to stop bothering them, you're not going to get better. You're not going to improve your lot on this YouTube place of the earth. Thank you, Ruby Hoove. That is such an, you know what? That is an excellent compliment. And it's for people like you that we keep it turned on. You know what? It's a little bit funny, but I need to play some video for you before I lecture anybody. Why don't we? That was wrong of me.
The word decent doesn't apply to me.
I feel bad. Let me play you some video. This is the new Trek Nonsense video. I made it yesterday.
Insufficient sensor data. Incorrect.
10 fucking grueling hours.
Do you notice how this, and thank you so much, Ruby Hoove. I love that you like my show. It means a lot because you know what? I come here very prepared to try to entertain. If you notice, I usually, wow, Casey, thank you. Wow, late in the show, we're getting gifties. We'll see who gets the next one. I'm watching. We got them to give away. Honestly, thank you so much. It helps build the community. People get these gifts, and it's amazing. And you guys, you're amazing. The show's going to be on tomorrow night. But like YouTube Survival 101. You know what? You want to be a YouTuber? YouTube demands live streaming and uploads as tribute and sacrifice to their God. Here's why. It's reversed. They keep every dime pretty much of the upload money. When I make edited uploads, I get rewarded with subscribers. And some of them may reward me with, you know, these wonderful gifts like Casey's Creepy Creations. And give me, Casey, man, it's very touching that you gave me this gift. You guys, let me highlight. I didn't highlight Ruby's. Let me highlight Ruby's right there. We have them both on screen. I'll get yours in a second, Casey. I thank you, man. Look at that's kind of cool effect. Like Casey's stacked right up on top of Ruby. It's like it's on deck. I thank you all. Like, here's the thing. The game is to entertain people. And if you don't like someone, you know what? Watching their show is going to make you insane. Like, I don't watch the shows of people I don't like. And there's even some of my friends where I take breaks from watching their show because your friends can drive you a little crazy. It is funny. And it's embarrassing to the person who received, you know, like, I thank everyone who gives the gifties, and it's going to be great. It's great. I love it. But it's like, we keep finding out that someone who really doesn't need to watch the channel is watching it, and it's going to drive yourself crazy, and you're not making yourself look good. Hey, the dead man is here. Good to see you. You know what? Like, honestly, if you're going to only like hawk on your on someone that you've made a rivalry with, how about this one? Turn off gifting twice in a week. Turn it off. Honestly, you don't want membership. You don't want to be a member of the channel, the CRC. You know, I wish you good luck. I want you to go, honestly, if you take my advice and you latch on to something good, like a show people like, if there's a project in your wheelhouse, follow it, something with some duration, with some staying power, make some video essays, learn how to do that, make some edited content uploads. YouTube will ease up on your algorithm and you don't have to worry about other live streamers. I don't, because when I made my 10 Yellowstone uploads, that's like, I don't know, 150 fucking hours of work. I had to teach myself how to use the software. If you watch it, it gets better and better. I was like beginner when I made the beginning of this show, beginning editing skills, and I poured my heart into it. I did my best. And it's great to see also, let me get Casey's super lit up too. Thank you for the memberships, guys. Thank you guys so much. You know what, Ruby? Yeah, it's so true, sweetheart. Ruby, you know, I have found that since 2023, this person has had a fascination and been able to look away. I have been nothing but successful during this time, and I don't want a renewal of hostilities. I don't want to throw shade, but we see what we see. The evidence is there. Watching this show, you're not watching it to enjoy it. You don't like me. You're not enjoying the show, right? That person. And you know what? Giving out the gifties when it puts the tachyon pulse out there that exposes the cloaked ships, sometimes it's really shocking. And I would imagine that, like, you know, this channel would be better off if that person just, I mean, you're blocked from the chat, bro. I mean, I don't have anything against you. Why don't you just, you know, call it another sunny day, in the words of Lindsey Buckingham, and go your own way. Exactly. Ruby Hoover said it perfectly right here. I thank Casey so much. Someone you don't like. What's in life? The Critical Drinker got a copyright claim, so he just got rid of the video. But he made a video that I had to get rid of it too. But he set up a bunch of rules, and one of them was don't be a dick and try not to get caught down in fighting. So from 2023 till about 2 months ago, I accepted a certain amount of adversarialness, but then it got to the point where I just couldn't take it anymore, and I started responding. And I don't think I or anyone else wants to relive those 8 weeks. So I'm not going to reattack. I'm not going to say anything about anything. But I will say this: if you are, a YouTube creator, wasting your time listening to my show, I mean, what does it gain you except anger? If you're seeing me succeed, it makes you angry. If you're we're better off just going our own way. It had been a pretty good couple of weeks, and no one here wants to see it change. So with, generosity towards all and malice towards none, let's not take it out on anyone, and let's forget about blaming anyone. Past is past. Tomorrow's a new day. And you know what? With that, maybe we could keep it civil. Listen, that was a strange way to end it. I love you all, and I want to thank you guys. You know what? Anything is more. I ask for nothing, so anything is more than enough. I deeply thank you from the bottom of my heart, everyone who helped out with today's show financially. It was really, honestly, it's always an honor, and I come here to try really hard to entertain you guys and not to do anything else. And I don't want to get back into a war on X, because we've seen how I can pull it off. Ruby Hoove. Let's see the super chat. There's enough trouble in life. Why fight over YouTube? If you don't like the show, don't watch. And Mr. House Party 6 gifted 5 membership chats. Wow. Thank you, Mr. House Party 6. You have been a great friend to this show, as has Ruby Hoove. The amazing generosity. I went on today just in the wake of a huge news event. I never expected to hit double digits today. I just figured it was important to keep my presence known out here. And you guys have been nothing but wonderful to me and rewarded me with some of these wonderful gifts. And let's see, we have 5 Admiral Teague memberships up for grabs. Tweet out off the browser that I'm live and there's memberships to grab. You can just get them. We seem to have most, and it's got to be 60 or 70 people now. 78 people, something like that, 80 people. That's a good amount of engagement for people who want to see you live. Burnfree Axe Wielders here. Turn on gifting. There's gifts out there. There's gifties right now. Claim them. Let me see if anyone got gifties. Let me go back to the live stream. Since the memberships, let's see who got them. Casey, what happened? I don't see them going out. Guys, turn on the gifting and comment. We got memberships out there. Thank you, Mr. House Party 6. But right now, I see we have the super pair.
Unable to comply.
You know what, M5? I don't need your permission. I'm going to sing. Believe it or not, it's a walking. Whoop, I did it wrong. So I get to do the long version. Look what's happening to Teague. I can't believe it myself. Suddenly I'm up on top of the world. It should have been somebody else. Believe it or not, it's a flying pair. I never thought one get sent to me. Flying away 'cause there's wings on that pair. Who could it be? Believe it or not, it's just Teague. All right, hey, Vinkman's Girl, Peter Vinkman Fan Club. Yeah, YouTube is still hating on you? I'm sorry. I'm loving on you. Do you have gifting turned off? There's some gifties out there. And a super sticker from our pal, Miskatonic. Thank you so much. Bottom of my heart. Eminem. I just love it. Clearly, you're not upset when I joke around that Miskatonic definitely sounds like it actually sounds like a cool town in New England. It's like, we drove from Castle Rock to nearby Miskatonic. It was a much nicer town with a much less insane author who wrote equally entertaining books but didn't have a Twitter account. Oh, thank you. Yeah, you know what? When you come from a community that has singers like Doomcock and Tony, you really got to know how to lean in there and sing, and you got to be creative, right? You got to be creative when you sing. So you know what? When you get the super sticker, that one came out of the blue to me. Honestly, I just saw the pair and I started singing The Greatest American Hero, and it was so much. And I see the applause, the emojis. That's fun. You know, YouTube counts that. Thank you. It's on, but YouTube keeps skipping you. It's bullshit. I don't understand. There's more memberships out. There's more people out there than there are memberships. But you know what? YouTube does its thing. We do ours. We'll be back on tomorrow, and there'll be a chance to get memberships. I think probably in this case, the prudent thing to do is to have another show, no matter what the analytic is, maybe in the afternoon tomorrow to say hi. And this way people can jump in, see if they get the gifties. Because I think what happens is they seem to rattle around for 24 hours and then they just revert. So if they get them while they're hot, let people know. And, I'm proud to have you guys here. And we saw me make a gesture of nothing but peace. Peace to all, really. I mean, wouldn't we all be better off if we lived by the ideals that Star Trek has? And the fun that we have here together when we celebrate Star Trek on Saturday nights. And we have so many people here who are, doing things that are going to get more content for this channel. It really, especially so close to the end of the month. And the dead man jumping in with some poo. All right. I see it down here. The poo super sticker. You know what? Thanks to Dead Man. Every little bit helps. We're at the end of it's EOM, as they say. It's the end of the month. So these donations are greatly appreciated. They'll go towards next month. And I think YouTube payday and my birthday are the same day this month. So it should be fun. And we're going to have a little fun satirical time with Pride Month. That'll be enjoyable. And then maybe we'll get the sensation of, really fully having moved on. It's all right to have, rivalries. But you know what? In the world of YouTube live streaming, if you just live stream, and thank you so much to Dead Man. I really thank you. Let me see if I want to try to. I was really bad at spreading around the credits. So let me highlight the chats a little better as we get really good engagement here at the end of the show. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. I never want to have to name someone again. I never want to have to respond to someone again. I think that the best thing for everyone to do is this all blows over. There's always tomorrow. If everything stops now, in about 2 weeks, all of YouTube will have forgotten, including me. I'm willing to forget about this stuff. It was bullshit in the first place, and no one cares. No one cares. Everyone can go forward with goodwill, and everyone can go forward as perfect strangers. You know what? In life, there are a few things that are perfect. Perfect strangers. If you hear me talking on the wind, we shall remain perfect strangers, how the song goes. It's good in life, too. I know that sometimes I have burned out on some of my, I burned out on whole YouTube channels. I mean, I'm no different than you. I consume YouTube entertainment too, and I think it's a lot of fun. And there are times that I'm in there engaged in the chat, and there's sometimes I'm at the 20,000 foot point and I don't want to drop down and talk too much. And it's always an experience, and this is the greatest interaction. Parasocial interactions are a lot of fun. But you know what? It's not about rivalry, and it's not about only live streaming. If you only live stream, you will have problems with YouTube. You will have problems with engagement. If you give them the edited content they want, and there are ways that have nothing to do with any sort of technology, just ingenuity. Reddit. You know what? Grok trains off Reddit. A good way to have X know who you are is to go on Reddit. It's good for you. It's not the greatest environment. It's not the greatest YouTube. It's not great for YouTubers. You get slammed there so much worse than you get here. People are actually on YouTube very supportive compared to Reddit. But should you be in any niche of YouTubing and you want to increase generically without, finding, and you want to find people, if you can take the heat of criticism, and in this field, all right, I salute you too. STD and SNW are the pride version of Star Trek. Yeah, the pride of our fleet. Look who's here. It's RRTNZ gifting 5 Admiral Teague memberships. Wow. Guys, tweet out that I'm live. We got memberships for everybody. We got them going out left and right. People, you should be getting these memberships. I don't understand. There should be memberships going out left and right. I gifted out all of my memberships that I had. We may have 95 members now. We could have 85 to 90 members. Seems about right. This month, we're going to get a great video. This month, there's no Strange New Worlds, but it's coming in July. In July, when Strange New Worlds come, unfortunately, if Skydance doesn't manage to complete the deal, at some point, probably before Labor Day, they will air Strange New Worlds. I still don't believe in their launch date. And by the way, you heard it here first because no one else covers it. You heard it here first. I said that they would not launch in June like they said. I said I do not believe it. I will believe it when I see it. Right now, I think no. And now they say July. I say no. I don't think it happens in July. I have been right more often than I'm wrong since Trek 2009. I have been right more often than I've been wrong. I can count the times I've been wrong on one hand. RRTNZ, my friend, I heard your joke on Open Bar. What was it, Chuck Norris? Overqualified to play Superman, right? And overqualified to play Galactus. You want to fix the Fantastic Four movie? Have Chuck Norris come in at the end and just deal out some justice to Galactus on behalf of the Fantastic Four. And on behalf of, us, the audience, Chuck Norris would base that. Chuck Norris is still fucking based. I can't join and get memberships, but it is all enabled. Sam on Firefox Brave, what the hell? That sucks. Jump on and endure 1 minute on Chrome and see if it happens. It might, it is entirely possible this is keeping this to Chrome, people. I don't know how it works. They tell us as much as they tell you, which is pretty much nothing. Appion lost his channel. And by the way, that great Bacon Spock clip, this one.
This unit is the ultimate achievement in computer evolution.
That's the wrong clip. Bacon Spock was a clip made by Appion. It starts the new Trek nonsense clip. Well, here it is. That is Spock, or as Appion always called him, Spork. It seems like low-hanging fruit, but this Spock is such a spork. Spork in this one is just an absolute dumbass. And Spock is just, he is an idiot. And so Spork is turned into a human by a beam of light. They don't explain anything else. He's just human because he is. So he sees his mom. And his mom says, Spock, it'd be great if you help me lie. Because now you're human and you can lie. And what's more human than that? And I'm like, man, Amanda's got some big cans.
Sir, that was so controversial. Sir.
You know what? No one cares.
How dare you?
You know what? That's bullshit. You know what? There is no man out there who wouldn't have been captivated by the new Amanda's boobs.
Find this man.
You're not going to find him.
You find this man.
All right, his name's Shooty Gatwa. The problem is...
I came home, there was a man in my house.
Do you live in a TARDIS? It's the retardis now, right? I mean, geez, the show's so dumb. But you know what? You can't join or get memberships because, guys, I would say if you're on other browsers, jump onto Chrome for a moment and just try to say hi like that. See if it gives it to you. Because we have something like 10 hanging in the ether, and I want you guys to get them. I want you to get them. I want you to get them. So much so that, like, I don't know what to do here. Like, what do? Do I go away for a while, take some time off, come back in a few hours, start a new show just to do it? It won't affect tomorrow when we watch one of the less enjoyable but still going to be an amazing conversation. Our show now is starting to transcend Star Trek on Saturday nights. We do our Star Trek show. We have now got some pop culture takes and some movie reviews going for you every night, and a little preview of what the week to come might bring. That you know what? Honestly, you can get a good amount of well-rounded pop culture helping from the Saving Star Trek Saturday Night Show at 10 minutes to 10 Eastern Standard Time here on Earth on the east coast of the northern continent where Tuvok is from. Just lurking in the background while I'm doing errands for my wife. You know what? Thank you, though, RRTNZ. Those 5 memberships are gifted. And thank you for suggesting, you were giving out gifted memberships to Drinker, and I think I got one. And I ended up having so much fun at the Drinkers member streams or something, huh? 12 people in Drinker just talking for 2 hours. The man takes the time out of his life. It is absolutely amazing. I can never offer that kind of entertainment, but I do. What I do is this. Late member stream for people in weird time zones to mine. Primetime America member stream for people in prime time. And by that what I mean is this. I open up my office and in the membership tab, check the membership tabs, check the channel tab, and you'll see the community tab will give you this stuff. There's always StreamYard links for people. You can come in, and what happens is this. Some people just can't handle it, and we can't have nice things. So a lot of times when we go live and with the cams, like there's a little bit of sabotage that goes on, and people can be, mentally ill or too intoxicated or hold up something that's wrong, and you're very easily in trouble with YouTube. So what I do is I make edited content for my upload, but I still meet people and I talk to them. Because if you're Midnight's Edge, you do have the ability to, negotiate. If you're a Drinker, you have the ability to negotiate a bad member stream. I really don't. Yeah, Ruby Hoove, you like the Drinker? RRTNZ gave me one of the greatest compliments. This shows you how much I pay attention when I listen to Critical Drinker. Now, I do not take my cues on what to like and not like from Drinker. I am my own flag. I fly my own flag, and I have my own views. I do not fly under the flag of anyone else. I am Admiral Teague alone, and especially when I make my movie reviews, and I stick by my controversial takes. But I do look to the Critical Drinker for professionalism. Oh, you have to bounce? All right, Ruby Hoove, thank you so much for what you did for the channel. You are the greatest, and you know what, as in a parasocial way, my love to you. Thank you. And as Ozzy Osbourne says to his audience, I love you all. I hope I entertain you. And thank you so much for what you've done for the channel all this month. Guys, we have, Strange New Worlds coming up. It's going to be some strange stuff. Now, I have been staying away from making video essays because a couple of people got struck for them. The rules and laws of the video essay still a little bit nebulous. We're trying to figure out how to get it done, but we can't. When this shows you how close I pay attention to Critical Drinker, though. I had RRTNZ in chat, and I didn't know him yet. And I looked at his name, and I said, "Do you pronounce it? Is it Rinse? Is that how you say it?" And then I realized from Clobby and from Drinker, but more from Drinker because Drinker loves the Chuck Norris jokes, and I think Drinker just outright has, goodwill towards RRTNZ. You can tell when they talk, and he loves talking to RRTNZ, and he loves reading his jokes, and he loves the humor. And I was like, wait a minute, are you RRTNZ? You're not RRTNZ. Aren't you RRTNZ? And right away, like, he gave you a super sticker, and I was like, wow. And also, like, I remembered who Melvin Deeply was. That was great. Not Brian's been by here a few times. I remember Not Brian. That's always great. And Melvin has supported this channel for a long time, and he's a member. And I love Melvin. And Emperor Godwin sometimes is a member. I love Emperor Godwin. And Not Brian, love him. Am I leaving anyone out? Melvin, Not Brian. I know I'm leaving someone out. The drinker community is a great community. And you know what? Steps for professionalism. Steps for how to behave yourself. Steps in how to do things. And when you do, I guess the only thing I'll say is this. When you are forced to retaliate or respond, you're best off holding nothing back and getting it out of the way. After a couple of years of ignoring stuff, it all got kind of taken care of in just about 8 weeks of me retaliating. So I apologize for the mess on X. I really do. I wish it had gone down differently. I want nothing but peaceful coexistence, and I offer to all nothing but peace. Let's keep things the way they are. Happy. People are happy. Guys, we got memberships. Tell your friends. Admiral Teague is the one who brought you today's solo endeavor where I came at you live. Just me and you guys hanging out. For a little while there, it was just me and Shrubby. But then, you guys came through like you always do. And I guess I'll get read in on whatever happened in the world like I always do. Or maybe I won't. It's my prerogative and my pejorative not to have to catch up with the world. You know what? I'll always be here to give you guys entertainment, and I love you. Check it out. This was made for last week's episode, but it's fun. Let me show it to you again.
Unable to comply.
This unit is the ultimate achievement in computer evolution.
The concept here is our M5 unit, and we have one on our ship, and it works just fine, by the way. Our M5 unit is being used to overcome, to hack the Starfleet databank, because you're not a good villain until you do this. If you notice, you get Admiral Teague's real name in lore. My lore name. Also, I was pretty obedient to Starfleet style, and I even tried to match the font. There's a great Star Trek soundboard from Trek Core that everyone should know about. Right? So there's Dr. Bashir's uncle. You know what? Death isn't going to save you. So what if you got deleted in Star Trek Generations? By the way, there's the soundboard for Star Trek. Honestly, that one's good. It's a good soundboard. It's a good Trek soundboard. I got my Trek sounds, most of them from there.
Automatic defense procedures initiated.
So here's a complete history of the Borg sphere. That's what it's in the movie for 4 minutes. It's so dumb. So here we go. Complete history.
Defense procedures initiated.
Time travel.
But if they changed history, why are we still here?
Thank you for your attention.
Geez, you know what, Casey? I have no real idea either. I I don't know either how to make that happen. I forgot. I did it like 2 years ago when they introduced this one. Does anybody know? Throw it into the chat if you know how to, and I'll read it to Casey. I offer you advice on making better content. You know what? I am always open to feedback, and I love when people tell me what they want to see. You know what? That one was a fun little video that I made to facilitate last week's episode, Regeneration. This week's 9/11 related episode, I'm not really into the episode. I can't wait to get done with the analysis and talk about, some other Star Trek related things, or maybe the analysis leads to a good Star Trek conversation. We have them. We now have a really good crew. Saturday nights have been fantastic. It has been really my privilege to serve you guys. And I thank you all. Trying to see, I don't know how to see, and I'm in streaming mode right now, so I don't know how to turn on gifting. And I'm afraid to open up too many windows like everybody who streams. It might be in your Google account. I don't want to mess around because if I get too deeply in there, I might even end up switching or turning off my freaking account. And we can't have that now, can we? We really started out humbly a while ago. I guess we got some people here. Let me just give you the non-spoiler stuff on Mission Impossible before I rock out. Look, I saw Final Reckoning, and this is the problem. It's a little bit boring, right? It's about 10 minutes of plot and then about 4 minutes of action. The action's really good. The plot, it's pretty bad. It dragged so much I couldn't even get invested enough to care about some of these twists. And the messy character appearances with having to stitch the movie back together, it seems like just like whack-a-mole with the characters just showing up and saying things. Mr. Phelps Jr. shows up in a tuxedo for like no known reason. He's just there. Real strange stuff. It was unexplained escapes over and over. Forced franchise unity, attempt to tie together all the Mission Impossible plots. It felt desperate and incoherent. It recycles a lot of spy movie tropes. It borrowed heavily from Spy Who Loved Me with the specific sight gag, and the fight from The Living Daylights very similar to the fight at the end of Final Reckoning. And it was not, after lack of originality, and I don't mean that they wore out in their franchise. It's just after 8 movies, the franchise is simply, it leans hard on Tom Cruise's amazing, incredible stunts without carving out much of a unique identity. It had elements of Dagger of the Mind because the bad guy is an AI, and then the bad guy's human counterpart is a human who thinks he can control the uncontrollable AI, which, whatever, make of it what you will. And so a little bit of Dagger of the Mind there, because if you look into this AI's mind, if you jump on there and you look at its videos that it shows you and tells you about whatever its crazy vision, you suddenly get the AI's point of view, and you might just end up in the AI's cult. A lot of people are in the entity's cult and they want it to, hey, Oldest Gamer, it's good to see you. Hopefully somebody's getting some of these gifty memberships that are out there. It looks like maybe they're starting to filter to people. I just can't tell. But they're out there. We might have to, I don't know if I have to have another show to get them to give out. I think I need to refire the engines within 24 hours. Look for a special show to member creation tomorrow within 24 hours of the end of this stream. We're going to do it. Oh, you got it today? Cool. Oldest Gamer, I hope things are going better. Last time we talked via DMs, I was thinking about DMing you this week without giving anything away. Is it a good time to DM you about what we had talked about you doing? Because I think it would be fun. And I'd like to do it in the next, we got 30 weeks left of Enterprise. This is 30. Next week starts 29. It's so Star Blazers, right? Admiral Teague has only 30 weeks before the original series. Ah, good. The rosaries are still working. There are my dads. All right, let's see if I can remember this one before I go, because we did invoke the magic show. The thing is, the Xindi arc reminds me of a show that was on when we were kids, right? And it was a pretty good show, and it was also redone by the Babylon 5 people as a show called Crusade. It's the same basic idea. It was, the Xindi arc is Star Blazers. which is like old school proto anime. So I'll leave you with this one. Ready? We're off to outer space. We're leaving Mother Earth to save the human race. Our star blazers, searching for a distant star, headed off to Istingdar, leaving all we love behind. Who knows what dangers we'll find? We must be strong and brave. Our home we have to save. If we don't in just 1 year, Mother Earth will disappear. Fighting with the Gamelons, we won't stop until we won, and we'll return. And when we arrive, the Earth will survive with our star blazers. All right. See, that was fun. I'm glad things are going better, and I'm in a great mood. And this ended up out of nowhere being a pretty good show. Did it go a little longer than usual? It happens. It happens, right? You know what? It happens. It happens. Germ couldn't make it. I really hope he's all right. I hope it's just internet stuff. I'll hear from him soon. I'm going to check on him after the show. Love that guy. You get Reverend Burnfried is still going to check tomorrow to see if this membership thing is resolved. Okay. I'm sorry for the people who didn't get them. That's weird. I'm going to come back tomorrow, and then I'll just have a stream and hang out with you for a while before the Star Trek stream. I'll go on in the afternoon for a little while. I'll hang out and I'll just talk. Maybe I'll get Germ to come on with me. Maybe I could grab him. We'll see what we can do. But we'll come on tomorrow afternoon, and we'll see if we can't give out the gifties, because I think the deal is they expire in 24 hours if I don't have them given away. So I'm not on again until 10 minutes to 10 tomorrow. It gives my whole crew a chance to get here. The Star Trek show happens when it happens, because everybody was already off that time of day. Good, because we're skipping it. It's too painful for me to relive 9/11 for 23 of 26 fucking stories. It's ridiculous. Have a good night, Reverend, by the way. I want to thank everybody who came by today. We had amazing fan funding here. I want to thank the people who gave to the day's stream. I want to thank Ruby Hoove, Casey's Creepy Creations, Ruby Hoove with the $5 super chat, and RRTNZ, The Dead Man, Mr. House Party 6, Miskatonic Madman, and Ruby Hoove again. We had a lot of generosity, a lot of repeat generosity. I think I got everyone. I mean, what do I do to really wrap it up, right? Meet the Mets, meet the Mets. Come to the park and greet the Mets. Bring the kiddies and bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really hitting the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to see those METS Mets of New York Town. Oh, the butcher and the baker and the people on the street, where do they go to meet the Mets? Oh, they're jumping and they're cheering and they're screaming on their feet. Where do they go to meet the Mets? Because we've got ourselves a ball team. All the fans are true to the orange and blue. So give them a shout, give them a cheer, and meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. Come to the park and greet the Mets. Hot dogs, green grass, all there at Shea. Guaranteed to have a hell of a day, 'cause the Mets are really hitting the ball, smacking those home runs over the wall. Oh, east side, west side, everybody's coming down to see those METS Mets of New York Town. Go Braves! You know what? Am I wearing I got my Yankee hat on, not my Met hat. New York baseball, guys. New York baseball. You know what? All your teams are great. If it wasn't for your team, my team would have no one to play. And your teams, you wouldn't be able to say, the greatest banner hanging in Arizona is their World Series against the New York Yankees. That is the greatest World Series. That is like having the highest A in your class. The Marlins are relevant because they have a World Series pennant versus the New York Yankees. See, it's the only reason. No one goes to their fucking games. They suck. Have you watched them? They're terrible. I mean, this year a little better than most, but I mean, not good. Not good. Guys, I love you all, and I thank you so much for being here. And thank you. Wes Cagle joined the ranks of the giving. I highlighted your sticker. You got the second half of Meet the Mets, but definitely that deserves some media. So let it be done. You know what? You deserve some media for that. We did New Trek nonsense. We saw Bob 5. We saw Indecent. We saw, let's have George Lucas talk to me to Wes Cagle.
Do you want the Star Wars trilogy and the mythology to go beyond your lifetime?
No. 3 will be the last film, and it'll be a 6-part series, and that'll be the end of it.
Incorrect.
You're not mentoring someone to take over for you?
No, it's...
Automatic defense procedures initiated.
There may be other venues for it, but not in the theatrical release.
Affirmative.
I don't want to have it just sort of turn into Star Trek. I don't want to have it just sort of turn into Star Trek.
I see beautiful Linda Park. I guess we want Hoshi too. You know what? Why not? We can go all the way.
Incoming transmission.
Welcome to Saving Star Trek, a show talking about one of my favorite shows, Enterprise. I am Linda Park. I play Hoshi Sato and also Empress Sato. So enjoy this show. I love that it's finding a whole new life on the streaming services. And you better hit that like button or Empress Sato will not be happy. I mean, she could make a storm happen, and she could really make your life hard. Anyways, enjoy the show, hit that like button, and thank you for being a fan of Enterprise.
There she is, beautiful Linda Park. I'm thinking about getting another cameo for her when we move to TOS. We got 30 weeks to think about it. I honestly think she represents the show well. Her enthusiasm has me infectiously happy, and I got to thank my friend Sean Carter for getting me that. It's my favorite ever piece of Star Trek memorabilia. I love it. Seeing beautiful Linda Park talking about how people should watch my show is something that's so great that I would actually go over to the shelf and get this. There you go. Mets, little New York Met appreciation there. Put on the Mets hat for you. You know what? The Yankees are the greatest team in the history of baseball. I love them. But quite honestly, I've lived in Queens all my life, and I love Queens. So this was my father's Met hat. I got it when he passed away, and it's kind of cool. We all love our local baseball team, whether they're your favorite or not. And I would just say, unless you like, the Mets, and even if you do like the Mets, when you're having your dream as a kid, whatever your favorite team is, when you win that big game, you're on the mound at Yankee Stadium. Whether you're a Yankee or not, you're winning that game at Yankee Stadium. It's the biggest stage in the sport, and New York is the most unforgiving town in all baseball. So it's just been, wow. It's been such an incredible show, and hail to all of you. Yeah, she giggled after she said that and left it in there. As far as I'm concerned, Linda Park she's just fun. And Garrick, I think, is also a possibility, because I think it would be fun to have him, introduce himself, and then talk a little bit as Garrick about, nefarious Admiral Teague and his attacks on the dilithium cracking stations and all the other bad stuff that kooky, crazy Admiral Teague does. But you know what? I keep ending the show, and you guys have been so generous and so wonderful. You've had me singing and having a great time. I got to thank you all for that. I'm going to come on tomorrow and see if we can have some of these gifties given away. Stark of Iron is here. Good evening, Stark of Iron. Stark of Iron, thank you for the raid last night. Putting the show over the top, put a few more people on there. It was really nice. The extra people, it helps out. You know what? On YouTube, we promote each other. It's, you gotta like work with your friends, and it's you know what? Everybody just has their own unique style. I think that Tony is got a lot to offer, and it's now our shows have become so completely different that we try to avoid it, but like when there's overlap and stuff, like we still talk to each other on the phone and stuff. We try to avoid directly competing a lot, but it's like we now like it's just like if you're watching me live, you're gonna listen to Tony's show later. If you're watching Tony live, you're gonna watch my show later. You guys have rewarded me over and over like that, and you've shown me that it's definitely true and it's the way it's been. So I leave you now as you left me, as you left her, with Sydney Sweetie. Bye, guys. I'll see you tomorrow afternoon for a quick bonus show.
Insufficient sensor data.
Incorrect.
10 fucking grueling hours.
Shut up! The word decent doesn't apply to me.